What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 4WR, 56, Yagyu Tsuki's full strength. You have been cursed by me. Let's start the ritual now. Let's experience the pain together. Hidan's whole body turned black, with white lines on his dark skin. He held a sharp black iron rod and stabbed it hard into his heart. Although he didn't figure out whose blood it was, it didn't matter whose blood it was, as long as he knew it was the blood of Yagyu and his group. Just offer that unlucky B********** D to the evil god as a sacrifice. Master Tsunade, Master's wife. Everyone in the audience exclaimed, and everyone stared at Hidan, just as Hidan was about to stab the iron rod into his heart. In an instant, Hidan was in a trance, and his hand holding the iron rod paused. Hidan, Team 7, Tsunade and others, the world in front of them changed dramatically. They were pulled into a unique space like the inside of Uchiha, with endless daylight covering the sky and dark nothingness connecting the entire unique space. Hidan didn't move, or couldn't move. Behind him was a huge, black and white eye like a mountain, similar to a black hole. Is this a barrier? Team 7 was suspended in the sky, and everyone looked at the entire universe like limitless internal space with a confused look on their faces. What is a domain? What is the infinite space? It was the first time for Team 7 to see such a strange and difficult to immediate move.
It should be a barrier-like ability. Tsunade raised her eyebrows slightly, and her amber-like light golden eyes looked at the unique space formed by the day with curiosity.
Even for her who was well informed, it was the first time she saw such a strange ability. Bloodline limit? Barrier? The bloodline limit of the dead white-haired man is the power of wood style, so this move should be a barrier. At the moment she was pulled into the domain, she thought that this strange space was an imaginary space formed by an illusion. But everyone's chakra is very stable, without any signs of disorder. She is the medical expert who controls the chakra of the Grand Master, so she naturally knows how stable the chakra is. So if it is ruled out as an illusion, then this space should be a barrier. But the problem is, the barrier is to isolate the space. The strange energy wall formed by chakra cannot pull people into a unique space. This move of the infinite space is far above all barriers. If barriers and illusions are ruled out, how to explain the infinite space?
Tisk. Tsunade smacked her lips and bit her thumbnail. She has traveled to various countries and has seen many strange bloodline limits, but she has never seen such a strange move as the infinite space.
Does the dead white hair have two bloodline limits?
It is very likely. Double bloodline limit ninjas are rare, but they still exist in the history of the ninja world. After all, Terumi Mei in the Mist Village is a ninja with two bloodline limits.
Tsunade couldn't understand the infinite space, and the people in Team 7 couldn't understand it even more. The only word they could think of was awesome. This is the inner world without limits, just understand it as power beyond the scope of ninja. Yagyu Tsuki flicked Tsunade's forehead, then bent down and whispered in Tsunade's ear. Anyway, I saved your life, you can treat me as a hero, put on black stockings and reward me for one night. Tsunade recalled what happened that night when she heard about black silk stockings, and glared at Yagyu Tsuki angrily. Idiot, don't talk to me. The dead white-haired man is still a hero. What kind of hero lets others wear black silk stockings to reward themselves for a night?
Tsunade turned her head away. Her delicate face slightly reddened, and whispered, no matter what, I still have to thank you. 3 seconds, Master, I will treat you as a human being for 3 seconds.
She could never imagine that Hidan, who looked like an ordinary ninja, actually had such a terrible bloodline limit. If it weren't for Yagyu Tsuki, she would have died for sure. But if she knew the information in advance, she would be sure to deal with Hidan without any harm. To be honest, for a moment, just that moment, the damn white-haired man is still a little handsome.
Lu Shengyu patted Tsunade's shoulder and said with a faint smile, I will choose a day to train you. Look forward to it, loser.
Tsunade's face sank. She almost forgot that there was a bet. If she failed, she had to obey Lu Shengyu's orders within 1 day. Damn white-haired man, I just thought you were a little handsome. Hey. B************************************************************************************************************************************่:::::::::::'t What kind of ability is this? Hidan was suspended in the sky, without any feeling in his body, and he couldn't even move his fingers. I can feel everything, but I can't do anything. What the hell is this? But I won't die anyway. I will curse all of you later. Hidan chakra was stable, with no signs of being disturbed by hallucinations. He could now clearly feel all the concepts that had happened in the world. From the birth of humans to the growth of saplings, endless garbage information poured into his brain. In the realm of infinite space, he could feel everything. He was given everything, but he couldn't do anything. After being instilled with garbage information for 3 minutes, his brain couldn't process so much information, and finally Hidan stopped thinking directly. Knowing everything, but being unable to do anything, this feeling is very sad. Sometimes death is the real relief. Yagyu grabbed Hidan's head. His frivolous smile was accompanied by a sense of cruelty. Yagyu suddenly exerted force and directly tore off Hidan's head. Hidan's headless body spurted out scarlet blood, but even if the body was separated, Hidan did not die, but was in a stiff stage where he stopped thinking. Until the garbage knowledge in Hidan's brain is completely digested, he will remain in a vegetative stage. Wang completely disappeared in the starless sky, and the 7th team returned to the vast open space covered with snow. Fire style: the Great Fire is extinct. Yagyu lifted Hidan's head into the air, formed a seal with one hand, and spit out a high-temperature flame from his mouth. Boom. After the high-temperature flame flew out, it turned into a sea of fire like a huge wave. The extremely high temperature caused the air in the entire area to distort, and the snow in the entire forest melted instantly. The mighty wave of flames directly engulfed Hidan's head, burning Hidan's head to ashes, and the headless corpse was also burned to ashes, and blew into the sky with the strong wind. Since you can't die, what about turning into ashes? Yagyu sipped the lollipop lightly and looked at the area burned by the fire. The ability of the muscular man is that he can't die, so can he still stick to it after turning into ashes? It shouldn't be that outrageous, so powerful. Everyone in Class 7 was confused. Teacher Yagyu easily solved the enemy with terrible strength. Unbelievable. Outrageous. It's really outrageous. Konan and Kakuzu were slightly stunned. They had never imagined that Yagyu could easily solve it until just now. Hidan, what was the ability that Yagyu just used? Just after Yagyu activated his ability, a dark energy ball appeared out of thin air, and the energy ball directly covered Yagyu and Hidan. Then the energy ball disappeared, and Hidan was completely solved. And Yagyu seemed to know Hidan's ability. Waste. Kakuzu didn't care that Hidan was solved. Yagyu easily solved Hidan and couldn't prove anything, because he also had the ability to easily solve Hidan. Apart from the weird curse ability, Hidan's hard power was almost the same as Jōnin, and it could even be said that he was the last in the Akatsuki organization. Konan used paper wings to float in the sky, looking down at Yagyu below with indifference and coldness, and said, "You actually know Hidan's secret." From what Yagyu Tsuki said and did, it was clear that he knew Hidan's secret, but Akatsuki members are very secretive in doing things. Why did Yagyu Tsuki know Hidan's secret? Hidan's hard power is very poor, but its strange ability can form a first sight kill, but Yagyu Tsuki knows the secret of Hidan's ritual. Strange. Konan frowned slightly. Could it be Uchiha Itachi? Uchiha Itachi leaked Akatsuki's information? Very likely. She never believed Uchiha Itachi, let alone the mysterious masked man. Yagyu Tsuki said casually, "Who knows, maybe there is a traitor in your Akatsuki." Hidan's secret? Hidan is a piece of shit, he knows all the secrets of Akatsuki. As an excellent time traveler, I naturally know all the information about Akatsuki members. So, you want to be my enemy even though you are not dead? It's a joke. I know all the information, what do you want to hear? Kakuzu has 5 hearts? Scorpion's whole body is a puppet toy? Yagyu Tsuki raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and said, or Nagato's Rinnegan. Ong. Konan's face changed slightly, and the white wings behind him flapped quickly, throwing countless sharp pieces of paper from the wings, all of which hit Yagyu Tsuki like heavy rain. Yagyu Tsuki actually knew the existence of Nagato. How is it possible? None of the members of the Akatsuki organization has seen the Vortex Nagato, so how could Yagyu Tsuki know the existence of Nagato? But Yagyu Tsuki did tell about Nagato and Rinnegan. What's going on? Could it be that the masked man who calls himself Madara told Yagyu Tsuki about the information of Akatsuki? The only person in the Akatsuki organization who has seen Nagato, except himself, is the masked man. To be honest, I'm tired of fighting with stinky men recently, even I want to bully girls. Yagyu jumped back to avoid the heavy rain of paper like kunai, and touched his chin to look at Konan without scruples. His eyes slowly moved from his face to his bear, and then from his bear to his beautiful legs. Yagyu's bad smile gave people a sense of mockery and said, "There are still some high-end goods." Konan frowned slightly, and a feeling of shame and anger surged in her heart. A cold murderous intent flashed in her eyes. She felt a sense of frivolous teasing from Yagyu's unscrupulous gaze. High-end goods? Are you mocking me? Disgusting man? You are so fickle even though you have Tsunade-sama, Kato Shizune secretly complained. Obviously, there is such an excellent woman as Tsunade to reconcile, but Yagyu, a white-haired man, is still in the mood to appreciate other women. What's more, it's an enemy, stupid, he is mocking the enemy. Tsunade glared at Shizune. You have me, but you are still so fickle? Zero, please give me flowers. Shizune's words are very strange. It should be a very euphemistic way of saying that the dead white-haired guy has done those things to me, but he still has the nerve to flirt with other women in front of me? Tsunade is not in the mood to care about those things. What she cares about most now is Nagato and Rinnegan that Yagyu Tsuki just mentioned. Nagato. Rinnegan, what's going on? Tsunade frowned slightly, bit her thumbnail hard, and stared at Konan in the sky thoughtfully. Rinnegan is the power of the legendary Sage of Six Paths. Legend has it that the Sage of Six Paths used Rinnegan to create the moon. It is a creative power beyond all common sense. I have seen a kid with Rinnegan before, and that person is Nagato that Yagyu Tsuki just mentioned. Jiraiya had received intelligence before, which said that Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan were all dead, but why did Yagyu Tsuki mention Nagato? And the cool and beautiful woman who used her power to float in the sky must be Konan, who was with Nagato in the past, right? What's going on? I'll ask that dead white-haired guy later. After all, if Nagato, who possesses the Rinnegan, is still alive, or even an enemy, then the entire ninja world will probably be in crisis. There is nothing to be proud of in dealing with Hidan. Even if you have the same bloodline limit as the first generation, you can't reach the height of the first Hokage. The so-called god of ninjas in the new era is just an excessively mythical title by the 5 major countries. Kakuzu slowly unbuttoned the red cloud coat and threw the Akatsuki uniform back, revealing a tall, burly and mighty body. In my eyes, you are just a brat who forgets himself when he has a little power. Kakuzu put his hands together and burst out a strong chakra. The amount of this chakra is close to the strong cage level, and even exceeds the chakra amount of Tsunade. 0. He did not deliberately mock Yagyu Tsuki. Everything he said was what he believed to be true. The strength Yagyu Tsuki just showed was indeed not as strong as the rumors. He thought that the so-called New Age ninja god was ridiculous. Even with the same bloodline limit, the strength shown by Yagyu Tsuki was far inferior to that of the first Hokage. He had fought with the first Hokage once, so he naturally knew how strong the first generation was. Old stubborn people from the old times, stop holding on to your past achievements and fantasizing about the past. Yagyu Tsuki sipped his lollipop and waved his hand sarcastically, throwing a kunai from 800 miles away. Do you think you have fought with the first generation? Indeed, you have tried your best. I don't need to fight you seriously. You may be betting everything on your beliefs and are prepared to die, but in my eyes it's just a game. After all, you are very weak. Yagyu Tsuki has never lost a battle since he was 4 years old, even in the field of verbal persuasion. Are the kids quarreling? Even Tsunade couldn't help but complain. Yagyu Tsuki's personality is like a spoiled child. Earth resentment. Kakuzu's skin and flesh cracked, and black tentacles emerged from his flesh. All the tentacles surged like living things, and 4 faces connected to the tentacles emerged from his back. This terrible breath scared the faces of Team 7 and others pale. This guy is weak? Everyone in Team 7 looked at Kakuzu in disbelief. They felt a terrible breath from Kakuzu, like destruction. Teacher Yagyu actually said that such a terrible guy is weak? How could he be weak? Let's do it together. This person has strange abilities. Tsunade's expression gradually became serious, and she stared at the mask behind Kakuzu vigilantly. She felt the Sengu Jōnin level chakra area from the 4 masks. And each mask has Jōnin level, plus Kakuzu's own chakra. This man is probably stronger than Orochimaru. You said you are not serious? Show your full strength, young man. Kakuzu said in a low voice, even if you know my secret, the difference in strength will make you realize the truth. Your bounty and blood limit will belong to me. If I put Yagyu-Yu's heart into the mask, my strength should be able to improve a lot. The most important thing is that Yagyu-Yu is very valuable. What's more, Konan, this prodigal woman, is preparing that move, so I can take this opportunity to delay some time. Want to see my full strength? Then fulfill your wish once before you die. As soon as he finished speaking, Yagyu Tsuki burst out a stream of chakra, which formed a strong airflow that blew away Team 7, and 10 pits appeared on the ground with him as the core. Very good, Kakuzu. I was waiting for you to say this. I will use the real power of wood style for once in a long time. This feeling. Kakuzu's face changed drastically, feeling the pressure of this chakra, and an incredible feeling surged in his heart. Yagyu Tsuki's chakra amount was far more than the first generation Hokage. How is it possible? Is the air vibrating? Kakuzu suddenly looked up at the sky, and he saw that the air in the entire area was shaken into a spiral by chakra. Then, this is Sage Mode. Yagyu Tsukishiro clasped his hands together, dark red patterns appeared on his face, and his whole body was madly absorbing huge natural energy. His terrifying aura was even more terrifying. Even Tsunade was shocked. Yagyu Tsukishiro looked down at Kakuzu indifferently and arrogantly, sneering and mocking. You want to use all your strength? Are you sure you want to fight me in this state? Open black lens bracket 57 close black lens bracket true several thousand hands. The Buddha on the top of the head. Are you a monster? Kakuzu frowned slightly, feeling the chakra airflow like a huge wave, gradually showing an expression of disbelief, and subconsciously took 2 steps back. He did not have the idea of retreating, but his legs moved by themselves. Kakuzu felt the severe pain in his skin, suddenly turned his head to look in the direction next to him, and then found that there was no one there. He glanced at the burn marks on his arm skin, and a shocking feeling surged in his heart. As this chakra, burning the skin, after the natural energy of Yagyu Tsukuru chakra was superimposed, it formed a high-temperature airflow like the 8 inner gates, burning Kakuzu's skin like a flame, making him have the illusion that Yagyu Tsukuru was attacking him from the side. Kakuzu is very strong, and he is one of the best among the cage-level strongmen. In particular, he has extended his life by replacing his heart, which has given him a lot of combat experience over the long years, and he even fought with the first Hokage. Kakuzu has seen countless strong men, and countless people with huge amounts of chakra. He has seen Senju Hashirama who can easily suppress the tailed beasts, Uchiha Madara who can compete with Senju Hashirama, the Uzumaki clan who are born with huge chakras, and Hoshigaki Kisame who is comparable to the human-shaped tailed beasts. But Yagyu Tsuki is the one with the most chakra among all the strong men he has seen. In terms of chakra alone, Yagyu Tsuki is the strongest person he has ever seen. The chakra that Yagyu Tsuki bursts out far exceeds that of Senju Hashirama at his peak. Yagyu Tsuki. In the sky, the white wings behind Konan trembled slightly, and even with her cold personality, a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. Her cold and indifferent expression rarely changed after Yahiko's death, and now it rarely changed slightly. It was the first time she saw someone with more chakra than Nagato. So strong. Everyone in Team 7 was stunned, staring at Yagyu Tsuki's back. At this time, the minds of 307 were blank, and they were shocked beyond words by this power. Incomprehensible. They had never seen any cage-level strongmen, so it was difficult for them to understand the gold content of Yagyu Tsuki's chakra, but they knew that this aura was terrible. Kato Shizune moved his mouth, staring at Yagyu Tsuki's back in a daze, feeling this incredible chakra, and finally his eyes gradually widened, staring and smacking his lips, he muttered to himself, "Are you really a human?" The chakra burst out of Yagyu Tsuki's white hair, combined with the natural energy of Sage Mode, is probably completely beyond the Hokage level, right? No wonder this white-haired man has high standards and even dumped Master Tsunade. With his powerful strength and handsome face, there will definitely be many female ninjas chasing him. This white-haired man must have seen the colorful world and many beautiful female ninjas. But Tsunade has never lost in terms of appearance or strength. Master Tsunade will definitely win. How could she lose to those female ninjas? In addition, there is a certain emotional foundation. No matter how you look at it, as long as he works hard, he will definitely be able to reunite with Yagyu Tsuki, right? You will win. Your power. Even with Tsunade's strong personality, she was shocked by Yagyu Tsuki and stared at Yagyu Tsuki's handsome profile and the dark red pattern on Yagyu Tsuki's face. Sage Mode. A Sage Mode very similar to that of her grandfather Hashirama, and the chakra and natural energy that the dead white-haired man burst out even completely surpassed the Senju Hashirama at that time. It's hard to say who is stronger between the dead white-haired man and the grandfather, but in terms of chakra and natural energy, it really surpassed the Senju Hashirama at that time. And the aura of the dead white-haired man gave her the feeling that he was standing behind. "Grandpa?" Tsunade whispered, she didn't even realize she was muttering. The dead white-haired man really looks like her grandfather, whether it's the safe and reliable back, or the tyrannical aura, giving her the feeling that she is standing behind her grandfather. The dead white-haired man has such strength at such a young age, no wonder he has a character that does whatever he wants. Yagyu Tsuki heard after Tsunade muttered, the corner of his mouth twitched slightly, and he turned his head to look down at Tsunade's handsome and delicate face, and said speechlessly, "Old woman, who is your grandfather? I don't have such an old granddaughter." Tsunade blushed slightly, and it was a bit embarrassing to mutter aloud. She glared at Lu Shungyue in shame and anger, and retorted, "Stupid, I mean it feels very similar." The dead white-haired man really knows how to climb up when he sees a pole. Old, you still do that to me?" Yagyu said with a faint smile. "Really? You can act like a spoiled child with me?" He was deliberately using all his strength. On the one hand, he wanted to show off and slap Kakuzu in the face, and on the other hand, he wanted to judge who was stronger between him and the first generation at that time through Tsunade and the Angle's reaction. Although his strength is now close to the threshold of 6 paths, he still wants to clearly judge who is stronger between him and the first Hokage through these people who have seen the first generation. Because he is very curious. Although these people did not directly say who is stronger, Yagyu already has an accurate and clear understanding in his mind from their reactions. Strength far exceeds that of the first Hokage. Yagyu Tsuki has also thought that he will definitely sign in to gain some power in the future, which is far beyond the scope of ninjas. When he gains that power, he will definitely show off, so now he has to show off his ninja power first. Tsunade frowned slightly and accused, "Be serious, the enemy is still here." Being coquettish. Dreaming. Tsunade has never been coquettish. Besides, the two enemies are still eyeing him covetously. Is it really okay for Yagyu Tsuki to be so relaxed? Yagyu Tsuki glanced at Kakuzu in the distance, waved his hand and mocked, it's okay, that idiot is scared to death now, and the 2 steps he took back are the fear of the food chain." Yes, it is the food chain. The 2 steps Kakuzu took back were the reaction of the bamboo rat when it encountered the person Joe. The sense of oppression from the food chain is instinctive. "Okay, as far as this chakra is concerned, I will temporarily recognize your strength, but you should clearly understand that the amount of chakra cannot represent strength. I'm afraid you can't reach the level of first generation with a kid like you." Kakuzu suddenly put his hands together, and the blue mask behind him opened his mouth. He thought that first Hokage was the strongest ninja because he was defeated instantly when he challenged first generation. It's true that Yagyu Tsuki's chakra amount is huge, but the amount of chakra cannot represent strength. Only those who can perfectly control their own chakra are strong. Many ninjas who are born with huge chakra amounts cannot perfectly use their own chakras throughout their lives. Chakra amount can determine the lower limit, and one's own ability determines the upper limit. Scared to death? Ridiculous, just dealing with a few trash, there is no need to be complacent there, you probably haven't seen a real ninja yet. Don't confuse me with Hidan, I've never been afraid even if I'm the enemy of the first generation. Lightning style. Pseudo-dark. The tentacles behind Kakuzu surged like a living thing, and a pale blue lightning spit out of the dark blue mask. Ong. The pale blue lightning leapt into the air, forming a sharp lightning spear, leaving cracks on the ground wherever it passed. The sharp pale blue lightning spear, accompanied by a deafening sonic boom, blasted towards Yagyu Tsuki at a speed of several times Mach per second. The speed was very fast, with lightning and thunder. The pupils of the 7th team shrank, they could only hear the deafening sonic boom, and they had no way to see the moving trajectory of the lightning spear. They didn't even have time to think, and the lightning spear had already flown in front of Yagyu Tsuki. Pseudo-darkness. There's no need to defend against this level of lightning style. Yagyu Tsuki raised his hand that was condensed with natural energy, and slapped the sharp lightning spear with his backhand. He glanced at the tiny scar on his palm, which was healing quickly. Although it was only this level of lightning style, the power was at least 2 rakery. But if you want to defend yourself seriously, you have to use at least the level of Kilin's lightning style. What happened? Everyone in Team 7 was confused. They just saw Kakuzu use lightning style, and then heard the ridicule in Yagyu Tsuki's words. With their current dynamic vision, they couldn't see the existence of pseudo-darkness at all. The power of Sage Mode. Tsunade recalled the scene just now. Kakuzu used a very scary lightning style in an instant, and then the dead white-haired man slapped the lightning style away. Although lightning style pseudo-dark is a B-level lightning style, it is also a lightning style infused with nature transformation, and its power is one of the best among all lightning styles. But it was actually slapped away by the dead white-haired man? The power of this Sage Mode is a bit outrageous. Although he can heal himself while resisting lightning style pseudo-dark, he can't do it like Yagyu. How is it possible? Even Kakuzu looked grim at this time. He still thought that Yagyu would use his ability to defend against lightning style, and then take this opportunity to speed up the attack. But he never expected that Yagyu raised his hand and directly slapped away his strongest lightning style. You have to know that lightning style is pseudo-dark, but it is the strongest lightning style that he can use at present, and its power is even stronger than Rakery of Copy Ninja. What's the matter with this Yagyu Tsuki? Is Sage Mode so easy to use? There are more, stronger tricks. Yagyu Tsuki did not take action, but looked down at Kakuzu indifferently and proudly. He knew that Kakuzu had a stronger combination of skills, which was almost all of Kakuzu's power. Arrogant kid, I will use this attack to solve you. Kakuzu burst out stronger chakra, clasped his hands together suddenly, and the dark red mask behind him opened his mouth and spit out a terrible high-temperature flame. Fire style had hard work. After the high-temperature flame landed, it turned into a huge wave of fire. The terrible high temperature directly ignited the entire forest, causing the air to twist into a spiral state. This is the B-level fire style injected with nature transformation. Wind style suppression. Kakuzu's seal changed, and the wind style mask behind him opened his mouth and spit out a sharp wind like a blade. Ong. The wind formed a giant tornado, and the tornado rolled up a sea of fire like a huge wave. The combination of the two made the fire even more fierce. Wind style is a B-level wind style injected with nature transformation, and fire style is also a B-level fire style injected with nature transformation. After the combination of the two complementary nature transformations, this move is full of destructive power, and can even approach the power of S level. Boom boom. The giant tornado burning with blazing flames moved towards Yagyu and others at an extremely fast speed. The flame tornado burned everything wherever it passed, emitting a destructive 3-force that wanted to engulf everything zero. This is Kakuzu's strongest power at present, and it is also a blow that he used all his strength. Combining two nature transformations. This person is stronger than expected. Tsunade looked at the infinitely approaching flame tornado, and a solemn look appeared in his eyes. Even if he had the self-healing ability of the 100 heroes, he would not be able to escape unscathed after being engulfed by the fire tornado that combined the two nature transformations. What are you going to do? Tsunade gently pulled the corner of Yagyu's clothes, and light blue chakra emerged from the palm of her other hand. She was ready to heal Yagyu. Logically, the best way at the moment is to disperse and avoid a head-on confrontation with the fire tornado, or use the more powerful water-style nature transformation to offset the fire tornado full of destructive aura. Teacher Yagyu, everyone in Class 7 said worriedly. They could clearly feel how terrible the approaching fire tornado was. If they were engulfed by the fire tornado, everyone would be burned to ashes in an instant. Is this the chakra-attributed nature transformation that Teacher Yagyu talked about before? Such a strong power. Since you said I look like your grandfather, let me use the moves your grandfather used once. Yagyu clasped his hands together and burst out a strong natural energy. Grandpa's moves? Tsunade was slightly stunned. Sage art, true several thousand hands. Yagyu Yu slapped his hands on the ground, and a huge natural energy chakra poured into the ground. This natural energy was accompanied by a strong vitality, boom boom. The ground shook violently like an earthquake, cracking into canyon-like cracks, and countless python-like vines drilled out of the cracks. All the vines were entangled together and finally turned into a mountain-sized Senju Guanyin. The airflow generated during the formation of the giant Guanyin directly dispersed the fire tornado. Even Yagyu Tsuki never looked at the fire tornado, because that level of attack was meaningless in his eyes. The attack that he wanted to care about had to be at least the final form of Susanoo, or at least a tailed beast bomb, right? It can be used to this extent. Tsunade's expression was solemn. She had never imagined that Yagyu Tsuki could use wood style to such a strong degree. It can actually defend against my full strength attack. Kakuzu's expression gradually became confused, and he looked up at the mountain like Senju Guanyin, and a feeling of powerlessness surged in his heart. One strike? The so-called power of one strike must at least have the power to destroy everything in the world. It's hard for you to understand this power, right? Yagyu Tsuki stood on top of Guanyin, looking down at Kakuzu below with a high and mighty attitude. Very good. Kakuzu is such a good enemy. Every word he says can give me a chance to show off. Since you give me a chance, I will definitely show off. People have to show off, and time travelers are even more so. Showing off to pick up girls is what time travelers should do. To be honest, I rarely take action seriously, because as long as I take it seriously, I can change the map plate. Don't say I'm bullying you. After all, you are also a ninja with the title of Shadow. Let me kill you 5 times with one blow. Sage Art, the Buddha on the top. Yagyu Tsuki's seals change, controlling the giant Senju Guanyin like a mountain. The 1003.2-handed Guanyin slowly raised 1,000 huge palms and slapped Kakuzu below with a destructive aura. Boom boom. Guanyin's palm strikes extremely fast. Each palm leaves countless afterimages. Each palm can cause a large area of wind. Each palm has the power to cause mountains to collapse and crack. And each palm has the power to rival S-level wind style. And such a terrible palm, a full 1,000 attacking one point at the same time, even other ninjas with strong cage level will feel their scalps tingling. The ground collapsed, mountains collapsed and the ground cracked. The entire area of the border of the country of waves turned into a ruined wasteland in an instant. Everything within a dozen kilometers disappeared and turned into a wasteland full of pits and wreckage. Even people in the faraway country of waves can feel the wind pressure generated by the palm strike. This kid is a monster. Kakuzu's heart was completely destroyed, and he fell into a pool of blood like mud, staring at the huge Senju Guanyin in a daze. He did not feel the fear of death now, but was beaten by Yagyu Tsuki. Destroyed his 5 hearts with one strike. Yagyu Ueki is a real monster. Now he truly understood why Yagyu Ueki could be calm and composed from beginning to end, even as if he didn't care about the existence of the enemy, because Yagyu Ueki had enough power to despise everything. Even now, Yagyu Ueki might not have used his full strength, because the strange ability that solved Hidan before was another blood limit besides wood style. He had said before that Yagyu Ueki's strength was average and asked Yagyu Ueki to use all his strength. This was just a casual remark, thinking that Yagyu Ueki was at most strong cage level. But he never expected it. Yagyu Ueki would be so strong. This strike alone has the power to destroy everything. I'm just talking, but are you serious? You are stronger than first Hokage. Kakuzu was fuzzy, looking at Yagyu's arrogant and frivolous face, and finally lost his life completely. 58. Let Konan be a dog and agree to join Akatsuki? It's been a long time since I last used it, it's quite comfortable. The huge Guanyin turned into dust and disappeared. Lu Shungyue landed on the ground and glanced at the terrain that was destroyed into a wasteland by the Buddha on the top. After putting away his chakra, he stretched his body comfortably. The last time he used the Buddha on the top seemed to be in the battle 5 years ago. At that time, there were too many enemies and it was very troublesome, so he just used a flat attack to clear the field. In his eyes, the moves like the Buddha on the top belong to the flat attack type, because it hardly consumes chakra when using it, and it can be used unlimited times as long as there is chakra. So it is no different from the flat attack. Wow, so awesome. Haruno Sakura sat on the ground in a duck-like posture, staring at the surrounding terrain with his eyes wide open. The ground was full of holes like meteorites, and there were also many holes in the distance that were hit by meteorites, which means that the destruction caused by this attack was very large. Did the Buddha of the head that Mr. Yagyu just used destroy the terrain of more than 10 kilometers in one blow? She had no way of understanding the value of the Buddha of the head, nor the value of the blow that Yagyu just used, but judging from the fact that it destroyed more than 10 kilometers of terrain and solved such a terrible enemy with one move. That move just now was simply terrifying. Haruno Sakura recalled what Yagyu said before, saying that she would definitely win in a battle with the third Hokage. She thought Yagyu was just saying it casually, but now after witnessing Yagyu's power, she realized that the words were true. Absolute power, overwhelming violence, and calmness in despising the enemy, is this Yagyu? Uchiha Sasuke looked shocked, looking at the border of the wave country that was destroyed into a wasteland, and couldn't suppress the shock in his heart for a long time. It was the first time he had seen such an outrageous power as the Buddha of the head. One strike destroyed everything, overwhelming absolute violence. This is the kind of power, what I have always wanted, the absolute power that is enough to despise all enemies. If I can have this power, I will definitely be able to fulfill my ambition of revenge. As long as I have this power, I will be able to kill Uchiha Itachi. Damn it. Uzumaki Naruto lowered his head, feeling full of self-blame, because it was because of his Team 7 that he encountered the enemy. If it weren't for Mr. Yagyu, the Team 7 would have been wiped out now. 03. I am still too weak. You can use wood style to this extent, and even the power has exceeded the first generation. Tsunade looked at Yagyu Tsuki deeply. She had heard about the rumors about Yagyu's trapped escape a long time ago. But she never expected that Yagyu Tsuki could perfectly control the power of wood style and even use sage mode similar to the first generation. Even the move of the Buddha on the top just now was the move that her great-grandfather Hashirama used to defeat Uchiha Madara when he was alive. The dead white-haired man looks lazy and frivolous, but when he is serious, he is still quite handsome. He is just a little bit arbitrary, or should I say excessively arbitrary. He actually forced himself to be with me that night. Damn it, he is handsome, but damn it, I have more power than you think. Yagyu Tsuki pointed at Tsunade with a lollipop and teased with a faint chuckle, praise me more, give you a chance to pursue me, use your lustful giant to work hard, maybe I will agree. Narcissist. Tsunade's expression turned cold, and she covered the soft Juru with her arms, and glared at Yagyu Tsuki with shame and anger. A Juru full of desire. What a lewd word. And it was obviously the dead white-haired guy who forced me to do those things, and now he has the nerve to say that he would give me a chance to pursue him? It's really the opposite of the heaven. Kato Shizune walked to Tsunade with the pink pig in his arms, covered his mouth with his hand, and whispered in Tsunade's ear. Tsunade-sama, I feel that Yagyu Tsuki still cares about you. Maybe if you work hard, you can get what you want. Even though Yagyu Tsuki had dumped Tsunade-sama, she still said in a joking tone that she would give Tsunade-sama another chance to pursue her. What does this mean? It means that Yagyu Tsuki still cares about Tsunade. Unfortunately, both of them have very stubborn personalities and it is difficult for them to say that they want to get back together. But Yagyu Tsuki just said jokingly that she would give Tsunade-sama another chance to pursue her. It should be a disguised reminder to Tsunade-sama that it is also possible to get back together as before, so as long as Tsunade-sama takes a step back and says something nice, they should be able to get back together. Idiot, what are you talking about? Tsunade frowned slightly. With her smart brain, she couldn't understand what Kato Shizune meant. The dead white-haired man cares about me? He probably cares about those things. Can I get what I want if I work hard? Is there any direct connection between the dead white-haired man caring about me and my wanting the dead white-haired man to pay the price? Alas, Master Tsunade, you are too stubborn. How could Yagyu Tsuki take the initiative to admit his mistakes? Kato Shizune sighed. She knew that Tsunade probably wanted Yagyu Tsuki to take the initiative to admit his mistakes and then get back together. Tsunade frowned and said nothing. She always felt that Shizune's words were strange, but Shizune's words sounded normal. She just wanted Yagyu Tsuki to admit her mistakes and give her a perfect explanation that she could accept. After all, any woman who was forced to do those things would be very resistant and stubborn. But it was so annoying. I wanted to kill Yagyu Tsuki, but I didn't have the strength. I even lost in arm wrestling. After losing, I had to obey Yagyu Tsuki's orders within one day. As one of the legendary Sannin, I couldn't lose face and go back on the bet. It was infuriating. Yagyu Tsuki looked at the sky indifferently, at the angel like cold Konan, and said sarcastically, to be honest, I don't understand what you are doing. Even if you want to die in a hurry, there is no need to be so anxious. To be honest, I really don't understand why Akatsuki is so stupid. They planned this operation in a comprehensive manner and even used the mist ninja to delay time. In the end, the Akatsuki members appeared in Haki, and they were all killed by him in one shot. What is Nagato doing? You don't want to die like this, right? Yagyu Tsuki, you are very strong and have the power to rival the Rinnegan. In the sky, Konan was suspended in the air with paper wings, looking down at the destroyed terrain indifferently and coldly, with an incredible feeling in her heart. She had always imagined that Hidan and Kakuzu would be easily defeated. It was the first time she saw someone with power that could match the Rinnegan. Nagato's Rinnegan can also be used to destroy everything in the universe with one strike, and even the direct power of Super Shinra Tensei is stronger than the 10 strikes that Yagyu just used. But you have to know that it is the Rinnegan, the power of the legendary Sage of Six Paths, which has the power of creation that can create the moon. And Yagyu can use power that can match the Rinnegan with his first order blood limit. This is indeed a veritable New Age ninja god. Matched? You seem to be misunderstanding something. There is still a gap between a casual strike and a full strength strike. I just said that my power is more than you think. Yagyu sipped her lollipop and looked at the angel like Konan above. Rivaling the Rinnegan, what an interesting statement. The full strength attack used by Uzumaki Nagato can indeed destroy everything in the universe, and can destroy the same level of terrain as the Buddha just now. But that was Uzumaki Nagado's full strength attack, and the Buddha just used by himself was just a casual attack that did not consume much chakra. There is a huge difference between a full strength attack and a casual attack. But Uzumaki Nagato is a fake after all, and the real owner of the two Rinnegan is Uchiha Madara. If Madara uses Rinnegan, the power can be several times stronger than Nagato. And his current strength can suppress Uchiha Madara, and he even has a plug-in sign in reward. Every day he gets a sign in reward, he is getting stronger. In the name of God, I invite you to join Akatsuki, Konan said coldly. She didn't care about Yagyu Tsuki's casual attack, because she thought that Yagyu Tsuki was pretending. The powerful Buddha-like move just now was obviously a killer move, how could it be a casual attack? If Yagyu Tsuki could join the Akatsuki organization, the plan to capture the tailed beasts would be more convenient in the future. Don't be stupid, woman, how could Yagyu teacher join Akatsuki? Uchiha Sasuke used the two-tomo Sharingan and stared coldly at Konan in the sky. Yagyu sensei joins Akatsuki, what a ridiculous invitation. How could such an excellent ninja like Yagyu sensei join Akatsuki? He was completely impressed by Yagyu sensei this time. As long as he followed Yagyu sensei wholeheartedly, he would definitely be able to gain enough power for revenge. So if Yagyu sensei joins Akatsuki, Team 7 will lose a powerful teacher, but Yagyu sensei has no reason to join Akatsuki. Konan glanced at Sasuke coldly. Uchiha Sasuke subconsciously took a step back, and then he found that Konan didn't pay any attention to him at all, as if ignoring the weak. He gritted his teeth and cursed, damn 89. Yagyu sensei said, okay. See, how could the teacher? Haruno Sakura snorted, and stopped talking before he finished, looking at Yagyu sensei's back with a confused face, huh? Uchiha Sasuke was confused, he never thought that Yagyu sensei would agree to Akatsuki's invitation. According to Mr. Yagyu's personality, he should reject the invitation on the spot, and then taunt the enemy for being weak, right? Everyone in the audience was stunned. No one expected Yagyu Tsuki to agree to Akatsuki's invitation. This development was completely unexpected. Damn white hair, you. Tsunade was angry and walked over to grab Yagyu Tsuki's collar to question him. Yagyu Tsuki raised a finger and smiled slightly, everything must be based on interests. You are a dog for me. I agree to your invitation, the kind of dog that crawls on the ground with a collar. That's all. You are waiting for an invincible fighting force. It's a great proposal. Join Akatsuki. Dream on. Joining Akatsuki to do things all day long is not as comfortable as pretending to be cool and picking up girls. What's more, you have to train the tools of Team 7 every day to gain powerful and interesting power and immortality. Everyone in the audience breathed a sigh of relief. They could all tell that Lu Shengyu's words were meant to mock and provoke Konan. For a moment, they really thought Lu Shengyue would agree to the invitation because Lu Shengyue agreed so readily. Huh. Everyone in Class 7 breathed a sigh of relief. They were really scared by Lu Shengyue just now, but their emotions were waiting for the next sentence. In a short period of time, their moods fluctuated like huge waves. Teacher Lu Sheng must have done it on purpose, trying to scare our Class 7, right? So annoying. The dead white-haired man is really perverting. Tsunade looked at Lu Shengyu's back with disdain. Being a dog? A dog lying on the ground with a collar? Since he could say such shameful words casually, the dead white-haired man might have played this kind of thing before. Pervert. You are looking for death. Konan's expression gradually became cold, and a cold murderous intent flashed in her eyes. Even with her taciturn character, she was filled with anger at this time. She had experienced countless moments of despair, but this was the first time she was insulted like this, the first time she had been insulted like this since she was a child. She really wanted to scold Yagyu Tsuki now, but she had hardly ever scolded anyone before, and she couldn't think of any good offensive words in a short period of time. You are Konan, right? Nagato. Are you talking about Uzumaki Nagato, the boy with Rinnegan? Tsunade took a few steps forward and stared coldly at Konan in the sky. At that time, Jiraiya investigated the intelligence for a long time, and all of them were news that Yahiko, Konan, and Nagato had died in battle. He even went to Rain Shinobi village to investigate, and the information he finally obtained was that all three of them had died in battle. Why are the dead still alive? They are even members of the Akatsuki that endanger the ninja world. What happened during this period? Yagyu Tsuki explained. She is the Konan you know. The current leader of Akatsuki is Uzumaki Nagato, the boy with Rinnegan you mentioned. As for Yahiko, we should be able to dig up some ashes now. Tsunade frowned slightly, and educated Yagyu Tsuki with an elder's attitude, accusing, don't interrupt. Yagyu Tsuki asked curiously, what are you interrupting? Tsunade said unhappily, you. Yagyu Tsuki gave a thumbs up, great. Tsunade-sama. Kato Shizune looked at Tsunade with a strange expression. She couldn't believe that the strong and heroic Tsunade could say such a fierce word. It's all your fault, you idiot. After Tsunade reacted, her delicate and fair face turned slightly red, and she glared at Yagyu Tsuki with shame and anger. Damn it. Infected by the dead white hair, you know too much. Konan looked down at Yagyu Tsuki coldly. Yagyu Tsuki gave her the feeling that she knew everything about Akatsuki, But Akatsuki had always been secretive and had never appeared on the stage of history. How could she have leaked so much information? Could it be? As Yagyu Tsuki said before, there was a traitor among the members of Akatsuki. The only person who knew about the existence of Uzumaki Nagato was the masked man besides himself. In other words, if there was a traitor in Akatsuki, it could only be the mysterious masked man who called himself Madara. Tsunade asked in a strong manner, "Why did you join Akatsuki, and why did you hide the information that you were alive?" She really cared about these things. Because during the Ninja World War, they met Nagato and others who were still children, and Yahiko led the team to rob them of their food. At that time, Orochimaru proposed to kill these children, saying that the flames of war would continue, and leaving these war orphans would cause endless troubles. But in the end, she was soft-hearted and did not kill Yahiko and others, while Jiraiya directly adopted Yahiko and others as apprentices and wanted to educate them. Yahiko and others have the power to be self-reliant. So if Nagato and others endanger the Akatsuki of the ninja world, then his softness at that time is a kind of responsibility. The 5 major countries started the war for their own interests. They never looked at the small countries affected by the war. Countless people were destroyed by the war. Countless young children were unable to escape. Konan's cold voice was filled with grief and anger. Her family was destroyed by the war when she was young. She watched her parents die tragically in front of her, and she could only endure the ridicule of the enemy, crying and escaping weakly. The killing of human lives, the endless hatred, the incurable pain, this is war. You 5 major countries have never reflected on the grief brought by war. Everything makes us realize that human beings are stupid creatures who will never understand each other anyway. These words were once said by Uzumaki Nagato after Yahiko died in battle. Akatsuki will change the world. Akatsuki is the dream of Yahiko and Nagato, and is the real bridge to peace. I will be the pillar that supports Yahiko and Nagato, these 2 bridges. Konan looked down at Tsunade coldly and asked, "Do you understand the pain of losing important people?"
Akatsuki is a dream. Akatsuki will create a world without war, using the absolute violence of the tailed beasts like a natural disaster, using the means of the 5 great nations to make the 5 great nations feel pain, understand the pain caused by war, and finally desire a world without war.
Mutual understanding between people was Yahiko's original dream, and Nagato's dream was to use violence to alert the 5 great nations and let them feel the pain of losing everything in war. To protect the dreams of the 2 is Konan's dream. Tsunade did not answer. She thought Akatsuki was a rebel ninja organization at first, but she did not expect Akatsuki's purpose to change the world, and of course she understood the grief of losing important people. 59. 3 billion exploding talismans, Naruto's demonic fox coat. Yagyu, you have everything, you should not understand the sorrow of war, right? Join Akatsuki, and build a world called dreams together. Akatsuki can temporarily let 9 Tails Jinchuriki go. Konan raised her fair hand. She recognized Yagyu's strength and knew that Yagyu hated the 5 major countries. If Yagyu could join Akatsuki, it would be much easier to catch the tailed beasts in the future. Yagyu complained, "Is there any connection between what you said before and what you said later? I am a teacher after all, I can teach you how to speak." Konan said it well before, but suddenly an invitation popped up later. "Do you really want me to join Akatsuki? It's funny. But I refuse." Yagyu took out a piece of cake and ate it, and said vaguely while eating, "The death of one person is sorrow, the death of 2 people is despair, and the death of countless people is just a number." He was really hungry. Useless waste will be eliminated, backward ninja villages will be swallowed up, and a world without war is a fairy tale. No matter how hysterically you change the world, you can't change the only survival law of ancient and modern times. You were right. As a person who has everything since birth, how can I care about the grief of the weak? Other people's grief is other people's business. It's enough for me to live happily. When you have everything, will you care about the pain of the bottom people? Human desires are endless. Don't underestimate the desires hidden in the hearts of humans. You and I are both creatures of desire called humans. I never thought about losing anything, and there is nothing worth losing. You have experienced it, so you want to change. I can understand your desperate grief. No one will laugh at a person who is working hard. I appreciate your firm obsession. But discussing justice is meaningless. The 5 major countries have ninja villages to protect. They start wars to protect their own ninja villages. This is the justice of the 5 major countries. You have the ambition to seek revenge and change everything, and this is your justice. If you make me angry, you are evil, and vice versa. If I make you angry, I am evil. It is easy to understand this way. Lu Shungyue likes people with firm attitudes. No matter what they do, as long as they have a firm attitude, they are worthy of praise. He appreciates people who work hard for their goals. However, the collision between concepts cannot lead to a conclusion. There is no such thing as a villain. It is all a collision between concepts. The winner is the king and the loser eats dust. That's all. Lu Shungyue will appreciate people who work hard, but he is not interested in caring about the life and death of others. It is enough for him to live happily and be the most direct egoist. Using power to save the weak is what the saint should do. As an excellent traverser, being happy is the kingly way. Power is a tool for wealth. Everyone in the audience looked at Lu Shungyue, who was eating the cake in big mouthfuls. Although they wanted to complain about where the cake came from, they had no way to refute Lu Shungyue's words. Because Lu Shungyue was right. Things in the world are unpredictable, there is no right or wrong, all wars are the collision of beliefs, and behind almost all wars, there is something to be protected. But the question is, where did Lu Shungyue get the cake? The storage ability of time and space? You talk too much. I will protect the dreams of Yahiko and Nagato, and you are an obstacle that hinders our dreams. You are darkness. In a world without light, flowers can only wither. Konan burst out chakra. She is currently a paper clone here, but she also has 2/3 of the power of her real body. As long as Yagyu Tsuki is here, 9 tails cannot be easily captured. Yagyu Tsuki is an obstacle for Akatsuki to fulfill her dream. No matter what, she will protect the dreams of Yahiko and Nagato. This is also the dream of the 3 of them when they were children. Uzumaki Nagato is her only support now, completing Nagato's dream as her living force. Use the power of the tailed beast to shock the world and let people understand each other in despair and grief. This is the dream that Nagato firmly believes in after Yahiko's death. Nagato has the legendary Rinnegan, and he will definitely fulfill his dream with this power. Kill you, this is God's order. Konan put her white hands together. She was ready for the move that Kakuzu called a loser, because it was decided to use this move at the last minute. So it takes a lot of time to prepare. Yagyu Tsuki played with the fork, chuckled and teased, Shuyunibyo? Do you like role-playing so much? But angels can indeed arouse men's desire to conquer. To be honest, Konan has fair skin, beautiful face and long legs, exuding a cool temperament. She is a high-ranking flower, which can indeed arouse men's desire to conquer. But she is a little bit Shuyunibyo, and she is always talking nonsense. Unfortunately, the one here is Konan's paper clone. Wait a minute. Yagyu Tsuki was slightly stunned, thinking about things with his chin. Distinguished heavenly gods. The distinguished heavenly gods in Danzo's right eye seem to be fully recovered. During this period, find an opportunity to deal with Danzo the old dog, and then dig out the distinguished heavenly gods in Danzo's right eye. At that time, use Konan, the flower of the pearl jailing, to test the distinguished heavenly gods' hypnosis effect. Yagyu Tsuki's mouth corners slightly raised, interesting. It feels very interesting. Uzumaki Nagato should be very angry. Damn white-haired, what is she preparing? Tsunade gently pulled Yagyu Tsuki's clothes, looking at Yagyu Tsuki's attitude of eating while thinking. A surge of anger in his heart surged up to teach her a lesson. After all, the enemy is still there, can the damn white-haired be more serious? Konan's chakra is very strong, it is obvious that he is going to launch some tricks, but the damn white-haired is completely ignoring the enemy. And desire to conquer? Tsunade pursed his lips slightly and looked at Yagyu Tsuki with contempt. So the name of the legendary Sannin can also arouse Yagyu Tsuki's desire to conquer? Then what happened that night happened, so this pervert is just out of interest. Damn it. Fireworks show? Yagyu Yu looked at Konan calmly. He had noticed Konan was doing something in secret since they met. Paper technique of God. Konan landed on the ground and slapped the ground heavily, pouring huge chakra into the ground. Boom. The ground shook violently and slowly split into a giant canyon-like crack, and the split earth turned into countless pieces of paper. After absorbing chakra, the pieces of paper turned into explosive talismans. There were 3 billion explosive talismans like tsunamis. Konan can control 600 billion explosive talismans at most, but it takes a long time to set them up, and now there is not so much time to set up 600 billion. At most, it can only be 3 billion, but 3 billion is scary enough. In an instant, Wang, a pair of huge palms formed by paper grabbed Yagyu Yu's legs and dragged him into the canyon crack formed by the explosive talisman. Damn white hair. Tsunade picked up Shizune and suddenly jumped back, looking at Yagyu Tsuki who was falling rapidly into the bottom of the canyon. After seeing the large number of detonating talismans on both sides of the canyon, a trace of shock flashed in his eyes. Are these all detonating talismans? Tsunade's face was ugly. It was the first time she saw someone who could control so many detonating talismans at the same time. This number must be over 100 million, right? Yagyu sensei. Everyone in Team 7 looked at Yagyu Tsuki who was dragged into the crack of the canyon in panic. It was the first time they saw so many detonating talismans. The power of hundreds of millions of detonating talismans exploding at the same time was terrifying. Even if Yagyu sensei was strong, he couldn't withstand this explosion, right? No matter how strong a ninja is, he is still a flesh and blood body. With your strength, you can't withstand 3 billion detonating talismans. Konan's white little hand made a seal, looking down coldly and indifferently at Yagyu Tsuki who was dragged into the detonating talisman canyon. In the name of God, I will execute you here, as soon as the voice fell. Boom boom, 3 billion detonating talismans exploded at the same time. The thunderous explosion resounded through the world, fierce fires rolled and thick black smoke rose from the ground. After the spiritual flames merged with the black smoke, they turned into a small pure black mushroom cloud. The black smoke mushroom cloud slowly rose to the sky, forming a nuclear-like deterrent force, which made the residents of the Land of Waves panic. The fierce wind blew away everyone in the audience. Everyone looked at the mushroom cloud in shock, and a heavy pressure surged in their hearts. Teacher Yagyu. Everyone in Class 7 had an ugly expression, staring at the black smoke mushroom cloud in the distance. The fierce explosion power just now, let alone whether it could kill a ninja, could even easily blow up the entire mountain. Yagyu-sensei is very strong, but as the enemy said, even the strongest ninja is still a flesh and blood body. Even Yagyu-sensei should not be able to withstand the explosion of 3 billion detonating tags, right? Will Yagyu-sensei die? This damn woman, she even prepared this trick. Uchiha Sasuke's face was terribly gloomy, staring at Konan with two Tomo Sharingan. He thought there were not many detonating tags at first, but he never expected that there were 3 billion detonating tags. 3 billion detonating tags. It's so terrifying. Will Yagyu-sensei die? How is it possible? Yagyu-sensei is the strongest ninja I have ever seen. How could he die so easily in battle? Even if he didn't die, he would probably be seriously injured. Damn white hair. Tsunade frowned and stared at the black mushroom cloud in the distance. The dead white-haired man should be fine. After all, the dead white-haired man has power beyond the first generation. How could he be killed by a mere 3 billion detonating talismans? But why didn't he show up in the past minute? What on earth is the dead white-haired man doing? Tsunade-sama. Kato Shizune looked worried and held Tsunade's fair little hand. Tsunade-sama should be worried about Yagyu Tsuki. Tsunade-sama has recently cured her hemophobia and has a very important boyfriend. Well, ex-boyfriend. She is about to reunite with her ex-boyfriend Yagyu Tsuki. Everything is going in a good direction. If Yagyu Tsuki dies in battle, Tsunade-sama should be very desperate. I'm afraid he will go back to that time. Kato Shizune is not worried about Yagyu Tsuki, because in her eyes, Yagyu Tsuki is just Tsunade's ex-boyfriend. She was even knocked unconscious by Yagyu Tsuki. The person she is most worried about now is Tsunade. It can be said that the only person who can make her worry is Tsunade. It's okay, I'm the legendary Sannin. Tsunade looked at Konan indifferently and said coldly, you asked me about the pain of losing an important person. I can tell you clearly now that the past is the past, and the present is the present. People have to look forward. Shizune should be worried that no one can stop the enemy without the dead white hair. Ridiculous. Although I completely lost to Yagyu Tsuki in arm wrestling, I am still a legendary Sannin. Konan is very strong now, but am I weak? Stupid idea? What's more, my important person is still there. Tsunade glanced at Shizune beside her. The only important person to her now is Shizune, because she watched Shizune grow up little by little, and Shizune can be considered her adopted daughter. Kato Shizune was surprised. Is Yagyu Tsuki still alive? Can Yagyu Tsuki withstand 3 billion detonating tags? But since Lord Tsunade said the important person is still there, then who is the most important person to Tsunade now? Of course it's the ex-boyfriend, Yagyu Tsuki. After all, Tsunade's mind has been full of Yagyu Tsuki recently, and even when she was drunk, she was muttering about Yagyu Tsuki, and she also asked around for Yagyu Tsuki's whereabouts. So Lord Tsunade said that the important person is still there, which means that Yagyu Tsuki is still alive now. Huh? Tsunade looked at him strangely. Shizune. She has been feeling Shizune is strange today, but she can't point out where it's strange. In short, it's strange. For the sake of the past, I have no obligation to be your enemy this time. Hand over 9 tails Jinchuriki. Konan stared at Tsunade coldly. She knew that Tsunade was very strong. Tsunade was the best medical ninja and had the strength to rival the strong shadow. Since you said the past, you should know my character. Don't make me angry, otherwise I will kill you. Tsunade jumped up suddenly, and the pale golden ponytails swayed in the wind. She raised her long and round legs and kicked Konan's head hard. Konan's whole body turned into paper and scattered to both sides, perfectly avoiding Tsunade's seemingly weak kick. Boom! Tsunade's foot hit the ground, directly smashing a hole in the ground. Tsunade looked at the flying paper and shouted coldly, Shizune, use fire style. Can Konan turn into paper freely? It seems to restrain my pure physical attack, but since the ability is to control paper, it should be restrained by fire style, right? Yes. Kato Shizune made seals with both hands. Although she is not so good at fire style, she can still use some ordinary fire style. Strange, chakra. Disappeared? Kato Shizune was stunned. The chakra she had just condensed disappeared directly, as if it was blocked by an invisible force. What's going on? The enemy's ability. Fire style great fireball technique. Uchiha Sasuke quickly formed seals with both hands, and spit out a high-temperature flame from his mouth. After the flame flew out, it turned into a high-temperature fireball, which blasted towards Konan with a fierce momentum. Konan raised his hand to slap the high-temperature fireball. Her ability was indeed restrained by the fire style, but it must be at least the elite Jōnin level of fire style. Damn it! Uchiha Sasuke cursed inwardly. How can he use it? Kato Shizune was puzzled. How can Uchiha Sasuke use fire style? Why can't I use fire style? And Konan doesn't seem to have the ability to stop others from using fire style, So whose power is it to stop me from using fire style just now? After Yagyu Tsuki died, your resistance is meaningless. Konan glanced at Sasuke indifferently, but she did not attack the people of Team 7, nor did she attack Tsunade and Shizune. Instead, she quickly grabbed the Vortex Naruto who was lowering his head. She didn't think about solving the 7th team, as long as she could catch 9 Tails Jinchuriki. How could Yagyu-sensei die? I will kill you, you be ******************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************** appeared all over his body, his sky-blue eyes turned into fox-like gold, and the 6 breaths on his face became very obvious. Because of me. It's all because of me that Yagyu-sensei was in danger, and it's all because of me that the 7th team was attacked by the enemy. Yagyu-sensei recognized my existence, and I must avenge Yagyu-sensei. Ong. The scarlet chakra formed an airflow, blowing away the dust around the vortex Naruto, and the scarlet chakra condensed together, eventually forming 2 blood-red tails behind him. Demon fox coat, 2-tailed form. Ong. Uzumaki Naruto burst out stronger chakra. Scarlet chakra echoed throughout the venue like airflow, and a 3rd tail gradually emerged behind him. Naruto. Haruno Sakura exclaimed nephew. This power is so strong. Uchiha Sasuke's face was dark. This brat. Tsunade's expression gradually became solemn, staring at Uzumaki Naruto who was already in the main tail state. The power of 9 tails. It would be very troublesome if Uzumaki Naruto went berserk. The dead white-haired guy should be watching the show in secret. Could it be that the dead white-haired guy just wanted to see Naruto go berserk? The power of the tailed beast. Konan raised her eyebrows slightly. She didn't care much about Naruto's chakra burst, because this level of chakra was not enough to make her feel threatened. Uzumaki Naruto recalled what Yagyu Tsuki had said before. Release, rotate, compress. You dare to look down on Yagyu teacher, then I will defeat you with the ninjutsu taught by Yagyu teacher. Uzumaki Naruto raised his hand, and light blue chakra emerged from his palm. The chakra was compressed and rotated to become a Rasengan. In the state strengthened by the demon fox coat, he directly used the Rasengan. Open black lens bracket 60 close black lens bracket Konan was pressed to the ground and rubbed. Rasengan. The blue Rasengan in Uzumaki Naruto's palm spun rapidly, generating a fierce spiral gust of wind around him, and the 3 blood-red tails behind him were also dancing. Rasengan. Everyone in the audience was shocked. Everyone looked at the Rasengan in Uzumaki Naruto's palm, and they gradually felt incredible. You know, Rasengan is a very difficult form change, and Uzumaki Naruto can actually master this move. The dead white-haired man taught him. Tsunade looked at the light blue Rasengan, and a look of surprise appeared in her eyes. She could see that Uzumaki Naruto's chakra was very chaotic, and he was affected by 9 tails and couldn't use chakra properly. But he could actually master the extremely difficult Rasengan that required chakra form change and applied to ultimate. No matter how you think about it, it must be a good education by Yagyu Tsuki. How could Yagyu-sensei lose? I will kill you here with Rasengan. Uzumaki Naruto bent his legs and bounced hard, causing cracks on the ground. He rose from the ground like a cannonball, and a scarlet airflow flashed by, and he blasted Konan's abdomen with Rasengan. The power of the tailed beasts is very strong. 9 tails is the strongest tailed beast. You can't control this power yet. Konan turned slightly sideways, and the light blue Rasengan passed by her. She grabbed Uzumaki Naruto's wrist, and then gently exerted force, and cracked. Uzumaki Naruto's wrist was broken. Hiss, it hurts. Uzumaki Naruto took a breath of cold air, and his swollen wrist bent in a strange arc. The pain caused the Rasengan to dissipate directly. He was weak all over and knelt on the ground with weak legs. The gap in strength is too big. Successfully captured 9 tails Jinchuriki. Konan clasped her hands together, and the ground around her turned into a large number of paper pieces, all of which rose from the ground and engulfed Naruto like waves. She was going to use the paper teleportation to transfer Naruto to Nagato's side. Ong. The scarlet airflow shook the paper pieces away, and all the paper pieces turned into ashes as if burned by flames, and the vortex Naruto's skin turned blood red, and the 4th blood-colored tail gradually emerged behind him. At this time, the sealed space. A dark area. Vortex Naruto held the iron bars tightly, staring at the huge 9 tails, and shouted angrily, "Hey, stinky fox. It's time to pay the rent. Lend me your power. I must avenge Teacher Yagyu." 9 tails lay on the ground, glanced at Naruto coldly with his pale golden animal eyes, and said in a low voice, "Stupid kid. Yagyu has a power beyond the 1st generation. How can such a power be able to deal with him? It has seen the power of the 1st Hokage, and even been suppressed by the 1st generation without any resistance. After it just saw the strength of Yagyu Tsuki, it can be said with certainty that 107 Yagyu Tsuki has completely surpassed the 1st Hokage. So how can a mere 3 billion detonating talismans possibly defeat Yagyu Tsuki? Although I hate Uchiha Madara and his damn dangerous Sharingan, no matter what, the power of Uchiha Madara's attack far exceeds 3 billion detonating talismans, and even such a strong Uchiha Madara can't defeat the 1st generation. And Yagyu Tsuki has the power to surpass the 1st generation, so a mere 3 billion detonating talismans is a joke. What do you mean? Uzumaki Naruto was at a loss. Humph. Nine Tails snorted coldly, closed his eyes and fell asleep without paying attention to Uzumaki Naruto, although he also wanted to borrow Naruto's power now, and it would be best if he could directly explode Nine Tails. After exploding Nine Tails, he could leave the damn seal. But there was no way, because he knew that Yagyu was watching the show in secret. If he exploded more than 4 tails, he would be subdued by Yagyu in an instant, and there might even be a stronger seal imposed on him. So he had to put away his thoughts for the time being, and wait for the opportunity in the future. I will completely solve Yagyu, stinky fox. No matter how Uzumaki Naruto shouted, Nine Tails ignored him, and he was driven out of the seal space after 2 seconds. Ong. Uzumaki Naruto lay on the ground like a fox, his whole body turned into a giant blood-red fox, and the 4 tails behind him danced slowly, exuding an astonishing and terrifying killing intent, but the tails stopped after 4 and did not continue to change. Because 9 tails refused to borrow chakra, 4 tails? It will be a bit troublesome. Konan jumped back and glanced at her burned palm. She had just been holding Naruto's wrist, but the blood-colored chakra burned her palm. Ding! Gain 20 growth points, current growth value, 34 points. Since 4 tails are troublesome, what should we do now? But I think 4 tails are nothing to worry about. Tailed beasts are just slightly naughty pets. Yagyu Tsuki appeared out of thin air, hugged Konan's shoulders from behind, and looked at Naruto, who had turned into 4 tails indifferently. He had been hiding in the dark and watching the show just now. He wanted to take this opportunity to test the strength of Team 7 and see if he could get some points. For this reason, he deliberately stopped Shizune and Tsunade from taking action. Even if there are unexpected events beyond the plan, I have the ability to solve everything. But to be honest, I didn't expect 9 tails to be able to use Rasengan. Obviously, 9 tails had not been able to master the second stage before, but with the help of the Fox Code like a plugin, he directly skipped the training stage and used Rasengan on the spot. Of course, it may also be because of the blessing of anger that prompted 9 tails to use Rasengan. In any case, it is a good thing to get points. One step closer to the sign in upgrade. I still have to thank Konan. This high-ranking flower can be regarded as a toolman. Drag him until he is exhausted. Konan stared at the 4 tails Naruto coldly and indifferently, not noticing that Yagyu was hugging his shoulders, and even subconsciously answered Yagyu's words. 4 tails chakra is indeed troublesome, but it is enough to drag Naruto until he is exhausted and then capture him. Really? Will the enemy let you do this? Lu Shunyue asked curiously, one hand around Konan's soft shoulders, the other hand wandering around Konan's slender waist, fingertips brushing the soft waist and then reaching the drum. Lu Shunyue pinched Konan's drum hard, a trace of admiration flashed in his eyes. Good buttocks. After pinching hard, there is a sense of rebound. Is this the buttocks that have been trained to the right place? Very good. Konan is really good. Even with Konan's cold personality, he was stunned for a moment on the spot. After reacting, his cold face blushed slightly, and his eyes showed anger and shame. He turned around and slapped Lu Shunyue in the face. This man is still alive, and he dared to touch. What a disgusting man. This is the first time since she was a child that someone took advantage of her so frivolously, and it was taken advantage of by a first-level enemy. In the past, she was the angel of Rain Shinobi Village, the messenger of God in the eyes of the whole Rain Shinobi Village, and everyone looked up to her with respect. Not to mention being touched, no one even dared to look at her lightly. Putting aside the title of the messenger of God in Rain Shinobi Village, she was also a truly strong cage-level strongman in the whole ninja world. But at this time, Lu Shunyue took advantage of her and even pinched her hard. It took you so long to react after talking to you. The natural character has been eliminated by history, or is it that you, a cold and arrogant B*ch, are sexually cold? Lu Shunyue grabbed Konan's hand, backhanded remembered grappling to press Konan to the ground, and then sat on Konan's waist with his legs crossed. Konan actually has some natural attributes, and it took so long to react after talking. Quite funny. Roar! Several vines rose from the ground, and after the vines were entangled together, they turned into a giant dragon, and Shenlong bit Konan's slender arms hard. Yagyu-sensei. After Sasuke and little Sakura saw Yagyu Tsuki, they both secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and then saw Yagyu Tsuki's body was unharmed. Only his clothes became tattered, revealing a large area of angular muscles. Each muscle was not so big, but each muscle contained a sense of explosive power. Unharmed? Bombed by 3 billion detonating talismans, just a broken one? This? How outrageous. When Uchiha Sasuke saw Yagyu Tsuki appear, the anxious sense of crisis in his heart disappeared, and was replaced by a sense of relief. He snorted and said, "Humph, I knew it was okay. How could such a small level of power match Yagyu-sensei?" This is a lie. Although he couldn't understand how strong the enemy was, he only knew that the enemy was an S-rank rebel ninja similar to Itachi, but he could understand how terrible 3 billion detonating tags were. He was just thinking that Yagyu would be seriously injured if he didn't die, but he never thought that Yagyu would be able to appear unscathed after being swallowed by 3 billion detonating tags. That's right, unscathed. Not a single white hair was burnt. After being dragged into the canyon, what did Yagyu teacher do to be able to withstand the power of 3 billion detonating tags unscathed? Uchiha Sasuke clenched his fists and took a deep look at Yagyu-Yu's back. After appearing unscathed, he was able to subdue the enemy in an instant. This man's strength seems to be stronger than I imagined. Ada. So handsome. Haruno Sakura's pretty face flushed, with a light pink heart in her eyes. She looked at Yagyu Tsuki with a crazy expression, looking at the large area of explosive muscles exposed because of the tattered black yukata. Haruno Sakura felt a hot stream rushing up her nose, and scarlet blood flowed out of her nostrils. She turned her head in panic and wiped the blood from her nose with a handkerchief, and enviously glanced at the heroic Tsunade. Damn it. What a joke. B*************. D. Tsunade, how could she eat so well? Tsunade looked at Lu Shungyue coldly, and when she saw that Lu Shungyue was unharmed, she snorted and said, "Stupid, you are still alive." Tsunade glanced at the vines wrapped around her ankles, and then she pulled the vines with a little force, and directly tore them off. Just when she was about to attack, she was suddenly entangled by a vine. At that moment, she instantly realized Lu Shungyue's intention. The reason why the dead white-haired man pretended to be dead was to take this opportunity to test Team 7. But the problem is, when the vines were wrapped around her ankles just now, the dead vines actually tickled her soles. Lu Shungyue must be poisonous. What if I couldn't help laughing just now? If I laughed just now, I would be embarrassed to death. Yagyu Tsuki smiled faintly, with a sense of sarcasm, and said, "Don't say that, stinky old woman. I have the power to surpass your grandfather, right, little granddaughter?" Granddaughter? You are really looking for death? Tsunade bit her lips. Her face gradually turned cold. She wanted to tear Yagyu Tsuki's smiling face to pieces, but she hadn't solved the enemy yet. Let's deal with the dead white-haired guy later. When did I call the dead white-haired grandpa? At that time, I just thought that Yagyu Tsuki's sage mode gave me a feeling very similar to that of my great-grandfather Hashirama. This Yagyu Tsuki really knows how to climb up when he sees a pole.
Roar. Uzumaki Naruto, who turned into 4 tails, danced his tails. Each tail contained a destructive breath, and the ground around him collapsed directly as his tails danced. He ran like a potato, raised his huge claws and slapped Yagyu Tsuki.
Uzumaki Naruto had lost consciousness and completely entered a rampage state. Be careful, Tsunade exclaimed, and was about to go to help Yagyu Tsuki. Be quiet, you little brat. Yagyu Tsuki flicked his finger and sent 4 tails Uzumaki Naruto flying.
Roar. 4 tails Uzumaki Naruto got up and quickly attacked Yagyu Tsuki again.
Yagyu Tsuki glanced at Uzumaki Naruto indifferently, and said in a commanding tone, "Naruto." Ong. 4 tails Uzumaki Naruto's whole body stiffened, and his fox-like giant claws suddenly stopped in front of Yagyu Tsuki's face. The scarlet chakra on his body gradually faded and all flowed into the seal on his abdomen. Finally, Uzumaki Naruto returned to normal, lying on the ground weak and exhausted, with large scars of fire all over his body. Everyone was stunned. Konan, Tsunade, and Shizune were slightly confused. Yagyu Tsuki could stop Naruto's rampage with just one sentence. Naruto seemed to be very afraid of Yagyu Tsuki. Our 9 tails were afraid of Yagyu Tsuki. Let me go. Konan's hands were bitten by the wooden dragon, and the chakra in her body was disappearing rapidly. It was more like being absorbed by the wooden dragon. This wooden dragon actually had a power similar to the Rinnegan, which could also absorb other people's chakra by touch. Konan gritted her teeth and struggled hard, but no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't move. The dragon was suppressing her like a seal. This is the power that can easily suppress 9 tails. With your ability, no matter how you resist, it's futile. Yagyu Tsuki grabbed Konan's hair and forcibly grabbed Xiaonao's head. With a bad smile, he whispered in his ear with a lewd tone, "It means that you can't move now, but I can easily touch you. You understand what I mean." The wooden dragon can easily suppress the 9 tails in their full form. Even Konan, a strong shadow, can't resist this power. Not to mention it's a paper clone. Konan felt the heat in her ears. The itchy feeling made her shrink her neck. She bit her lips and said coldly, "You are very conceited. Even if you can defeat my clone, it's meaningless. Next time, I will use my real body to completely solve you. With your strength, you can't compete with Rinnegan. So annoying. What a disgusting man. Why did things turn out like this?" She thought Yagyu Tsuki was a very bad and conceited man, and this conceited arrogance would definitely lead to Yagyu Tsuki's failure. Because no matter how strong Yagyu Tsuki is, he can't compete with the legendary Rinnegan. No matter how strong he is just an ordinary ninja. How can he possibly match the eye power of the Kido Sage? When Nagato recovers his eye power, Yagyu Tsuki will definitely lose. What's more, here is just a paper clone. Although it has a strength close to the real body, it is still a world of difference from the real body. If the real body uses all its strength, how could it be easily pressed to the ground by Yagyu Tsuki? I will look forward to the next time, but let's get along well this time. Yagyu Tsuki slapped Konan's drum hard, and the crisp sound resounded throughout the venue, shocking everyone. Next time we meet, I will be a distinguished heavenly gods. It's hard to say whether distinguished heavenly gods is useful or not, anyway, you have to try it to know the effect. You are a man who disgusts me. Konan gritted her teeth, her cold and beautiful face flushed. She turned around and glared at Yagyu Tsuki in shame and anger. This angry and vicious look seemed to want to eat Yagyu Tsuki alive. It was the first time she had seen such a disgusting man. I am the god's messenger in the Rain Shinobi village, one of the top shadows in the whole ninja world. Yagyu Tsuki pressed me to the ground and beat my drum? If the Akatsuki members knew, they would laugh to death. But she was taciturn and rarely cursed, so she couldn't think of any curse words for a short time. In short, it was very annoying. Do you know why the drum is divided into 2 parts? It's okay to touch one part. Since I touch your left drum, you have to let me touch your right drum too. Yagyu Tsuki slapped Konan's right drum fiercely, and the crisp sound resounded throughout the audience again, and everyone present was completely stunned. Everyone in the audience had a stiff expression. Such a terrifying cage-level warrior was actually beaten on the ground by Yagyu. Next time, I will kill you completely in the name of God. Konan's eyes were filled with tears. She stared at Yagyu fiercely and angrily, and then her whole body turned into a white paper, flying into the sky with the breeze. Yagyu was really annoying. Others would directly deal with the enemy, but Yagyu teased the enemy in a very bad way. She swore. Next time, Yagyu will definitely pay the price. Open black lens bracket 61 close black lens bracket the power of God, feel the pain, understand the pain. Suna. Kato Shizune turned his head to look at Tsunade, and saw Tsunade's extremely cold face. He thought to himself that it was not good, and took back all the words on his lips. Is Tsunade jealous? Come to think of it, seeing her ex-boyfriend flirting with other female ninjas in front of her, even the enemy she just fought, any woman would be very angry in this situation, right? And, especially since Tsunade cares about Yagyu Tsuki very much. Damn pervert. Tsunade cursed inwardly. She was indeed very angry now, but she didn't feel jealous. Obviously, the dead white-haired man did those things that night, and he dared to flirt with other women in front of me. Does that mean that what happened that night was just a whim? Yagyu Tsuki deserves to die. Kato Shizune grabbed Tsunade's wrist, stole a glance at Yagyu Tsuki's back in the distance, and whispered in Tsunade's ear. Tsunade-sama, if you ask me, forget it. 1. Since Yagyu Tsuki dared to flirt with other women in front of Tsunade, it means that he is likely to do so in the future. In this case, there is no point in forcing them to gather together. Moreover, with Tsunade-sama's strong personality, how could he tolerate such a thing? I'm afraid they might break up in the future. Stupid, how can I forget it? Tsunade frowned slightly. Yagyu Tsuki had done those things to him for no reason. How could he forget it so easily? At least he should get back an acceptable price, right? But the question is, what price? Since he can't beat Yagyu Tsuki, and he can't do anything to Yagyu Tsuki, how can he make the dead white-haired man pay the price in this situation? So annoying. After waking up, Uzumaki Naruto raised his head and looked at the calm and composed Yagyu Tsuki. He shouted with surprise, Teacher Yagyu, you are still alive. That's great. He just thought Yagyu Tsuki died in the battle, and wanted to kill Konan in a rage. After using the Rasengan, he lost consciousness directly. His consciousness was swallowed by the Scarlet Chakra, and there was only anger and hatred in his heart. Yagyu Tsuki touched Uzumaki Naruto's head and said with a faint smile, you did a good job this time. You are the first person in Team 7 to master the Rasengan. I won't reward you with a bowl of ramen. Really? That's great, I want a big bowl of barbecued pork ramen. Uzumaki Naruto cheered happily, and the self-blame in his heart was swept away. How did I use the Rasengan just now? Strange, there's no point worrying about it. Anyway, I'm the one who has made the fastest progress in training in Team 7 this time, and I've completely surpassed Sasuke. Yagyu Tsuki said, okay, 3rd generation old dog account. Sugar and whip should be used reasonably. Let's praise Nine Tails for the time being, and we can also take this opportunity to put pressure on Sasuke and Lil Sakura. Rasengan is not difficult. Uzumaki Naruto raised his head proudly, touched his nose and looked at Uchiha Sasuke proudly, as if telling Sasuke that you are still far away. Finally it's my turn to shine. It used to be Sasuke and Yagyu Sensei who were in the spotlight, now it's finally my turn. Uzumaki Naruto. Nine Tails Kid performed very well. After a pause, Yagyu Tsuki turned his head to look at Sasuke and Lil Sakura, and said in a cold tone, but you? To be honest, I'm a little disappointed. I clearly want to gain power, but I can't do anything. It's really convenient to gain power just by talking. Using Nine Tails Kid to put pressure on Team 7 should have some miraculous effects. Haruno Sakura wanted to refute a few words, but in the end he couldn't say anything. Feeling Yagyu Tsuki's disappointed gaze, a sense of pressure gradually surged in his heart. Obviously, his second stage training speed was the fastest, but why was Naruto able to learn Rasengan in a short time? It would be fine if I was surpassed by Sasuke, but why was I surpassed by a mere Naruto? What a joke. B**********D. I have to work harder. Uchiha Sasuke lowered his head, a surge of anger in his heart, glanced at the smug face of Uzumaki Naruto, and clenched his hands in his pockets into fists, and his nails dug into his flesh due to excessive force. A mere tail ender, a mere super idiot. I was actually surpassed by Naruto? I am the one who wants to gain power the most, but why am I practicing so slowly? Moreover, what was that tyrannical power that Naruto just had? Could it be the power of the rumored Nine-Tails demon fox? Damn Naruto, he actually has such a hidden power. I must speed up my practice and gain further power. I must master the Rasengan completely in a short time. Yagyu Tsuki looked at Sasuke and little Sakura indifferently, thinking secretly in his heart. This time the pressure seems to be enough. Being 9 tails, it's not nice to see tails surpass you. Anyway, work hard, you stinky cash cow. After all the members of Team 7 master the Rasengan, the sign in reward should be able to break through. On the way back to the village later, I'll teach 9 tails the basics of the 100 healing power. This should further stimulate the desire to win of Sasuke and Sakura. Perfect. It's already progressing step by step. As long as someone completes the training first, they can use this person to put pressure on the other two. And you, stinky old woman, how did you find me? Yagyu Tsuki walked in front of Tsunade, touched her chin, and looked at Tsunade's cute and heroic face with an old uncle's attitude. What a good woman. Tsunade must have a place in the harem. The reason why Sister Juru found me should be because the old dog of the 3rd generation is rude, right? The 3rd generation said. Tsunade raised her little face and looked at Yagyu Tsuki coldly and forcefully. Yagyu Tsuki said with disdain, really? The 3rd generation old dog is really rude. He still troubles me before he dies. After he dies, let's bury him with the dog. That's right. Buried with the dog, with the old dog named Danzo. He has decided to clean up all the troublesome old men in the upper echelons, including Shimura Danzo, the rat in the gutter, when Orochimaru, the dead demon, invades. Please explain clearly, what do you mean before you die? Tsunade grabbed Yagyu Tsuki's collar, raised her white toes and looked at Yagyu Tsuki. 3rd generation before he dies? What does this mean? Is the dead white-haired man going to do it? She had heard some rumors before. The 3rd generation always wanted Yagyu Tsuki's bloodline limit, and used Yagyu Tsuki's cells to create some ninjas who can use the real wood-style power. But the 3rd Hokage did not take action directly, nor did he express any attitude openly, which meant that Shimura Danzo was in the dark, looking for an opportunity to obtain Yagyu Tsuki's cells. One is bright, the other is dark, black cop and white cop. So the rumors that Yagyu Tsuki hated the 3rd generation had already spread to the other shadows. Of course, she was not interested in participating in these things, she just heard about them. Yagyu Tsuki did not speak, but looked down at Tsunade's face lightly. Tsunade did not continue to ask, but stared at Yagyu Tsuki forcefully, waiting for Yagyu Tsuki's answer. The two looked into each other's eyes. 3 seconds later, Yagyu Tsuki hugged Tsunade and kissed Tsunade's slightly cold lips. Tsunade suddenly widened her eyes, her body trembled slightly, and in an instant she forgot to resist Yagyu Tsuki. Tsunade was confused. We were staring at each other and were about to fight. Why did the damn white-haired guy suddenly kiss me? So sweet. The damn white-haired guy even had candy in his mouth. Sweet as hell. What the hell is this idiot doing? Suddenly, the whole audience fell into silence. Everyone stared at Yagyu Tsuki and Tsunade in a daze. They never thought that Yagyu Tsuki would be so bold. Oh my god, they actually. Then they got tattoos. Haruno Sakura's mouth was trembling with excitement, and she covered her mouth with her little hand and looked at the scene in shock. Oh my god. My god, Teacher Yagyu is so bold. Although I have seen Naruto and Sasuke kiss before, can that scene be compared with this one?
I have never had a tattoo in my life. What a great scene. Kato Shizune muttered. Since the two have kissed in public, it means that Yagyu Tsuki has decided to get back together.
But what a great scene. One of the legendary Sannin, the strongest medical ninja in the ninja world, the strong and hot-tempered Lord Tsunade, was hugged and kissed by Yagyu Tsuki like a little girl. What a big contrast. Love is really great. A female ninja as strong as Tsunade actually has a love-brained side.
As expected of Yagyu teacher. Uchiha Sasuke snorted coldly.
Uzumaki Naruto took a step back, pointed at Uchiha Sasuke and yelled speechlessly, Hey, Sasuke, what are you admiring?
Before dying, who knows? You should see interesting things when you return to the village. Lu Shengyu let go of Tsunade and teased with a faint smile, Don't worry, I will tease even an old woman.
Tsunade's fair face was red, and the blush even spread to her ears. Her heart was beating fast, and she felt shy in her heart. After reacting, she pinched Lu Shengyu's waist hard. 0. Ask for flowers. Tsunade suddenly exerted force with 2 fingers, and shouted in shame and anger, Damn, white hair. Lu Shengyu's smile froze, the corner of her mouth twitched slightly, and she took a breath of cold air in pain, hiss. This crazy woman is sick. It hurts so much, pinching the waist hurts, and pinching the waist with the power of the 100 healings hurts even more. Anyway, if you want to watch the show, go back to the village. Your old friend is planning something interesting. Yagyu Tsuki jumped back, rubbed the skin on his waist that was pinched, and then picked up the 3 people from Team 7 and disappeared instantly. Yagyu Tsuki, you idiot, wait for me. Tsunade's red face was burning, and her white neck was flushed. Her heart beat faster and faster. She clenched her fist and hit the ground hard, trying to vent the shame and anger in her heart. Boom! A super large pit appeared on the ground, which showed how terrible Tsunade's punch was. Kato Shizune was startled. Rain Shinobi Village, inside a black tower-shaped building. What's the situation? Uzumaki Nagato's skinny body was covered with black iron rods containing strange chakra. As he sat up, his whole body creaked. He raised his head to reveal the circle-shaped Rinnegan. His eyes exuded a destructive aura, and his aura was filled with a sacred feeling of looking down on all living things. Konan stood beside Uzumaki Nagato. After receiving the information from the paper clone, he slowly opened his beautiful amber eyes and said indifferently, the mission failed. Kakuzu and Hidan died in the battle. Uzumaki Nagato asked hoarsely, how strong is Yagyu Tsuki? He valued Konan very much. Konan was the person he trusted most now. He was relieved to let Konan do the work, but since the mission failed, it meant that Akatsuki completely underestimated Yagyu Tsuki's strength this time. Very strong, with the power to match the tailed beasts in one blow. Konan frowned slightly, feeling the pain left by the drum. A trace of shame and anger flashed in her cold eyes. All the information and touch that the paper clone knew would be transmitted back to her real body. Yagyu Tsuki, you won't be so lucky next time. Uzumaki Nagato sensed Konan's anger and asked in confusion, what's wrong with you? Konan rarely has mood changes, especially rarely gets angry with others, but why is Konan angry now? Am I wrong? Or, what happened to the paper clone? Konan is the only most important person to him now. He didn't protect the important Yahiko. After Yahiko died, he swore that he would protect the important Konan. If anyone dares to hurt Konan, he will never forgive that guy. No matter who it is. Konan returned to normal and said briefly, it's okay. Are you saying that you were forced to play the drum by Yagyu Tsuki? How is that possible? This is simply too embarrassing. Yagyu Tsuki is very strong, beyond our initial expectations, but after all, he is immortal. How can someone who has not experienced pain understand the truth? Uzumaki. Nagato did not ask any more questions, he trusted Konan from the bottom of his heart. The pain of the past, the death of Yahiko, everything made me realize that I have gained extraordinary growth in infinite pain, and transformed from a mortal into a god. We will stop this war-torn world, this is God's mission. When my pupil power is restored, I will let Yagyu Tsuki feel pain. Pain 6 paths appeared out of thin air and stood in front of Uzumaki Nagato. Uzumaki Nagato looked at Pain's face, his eyes revealed a look of grief, and a destructive anger surged in his heart. Feel the pain, understand the pain. How could Yagyu Tsuki, who had never experienced grief, fight against the power of God? How could a mere mortal's power fight against the legendary Rinnegan? He wanted to use Yahiko's wreckage to fulfill Yahiko's dream before her death. Pain is Yahiko's dream, and he is also the god who changes the world. We will fulfill our dream. Konan bit his lips lightly, recalling the things he had experienced in the past. His family was destroyed because of the war, he fled because of the war, his country was destroyed because of the war, and he lost important friends because of the war. Uzumaki Nagato has the power to change the world, and has the legendary 6 paths creation moon power. No matter how strong Yagyu is, he can't match the Rinnegan. We will win, and the dream is just around the corner. Open black lens bracket 62 close black lens bracket register for the Chunin exam and learn the power of the 100 heroes. The sun is blazing, and the sky is clear. The 7th training ground. Ding. Gained 40 growth points, current growth points bronze, 74 points. 40 points. Lu Shengyue sat on the soft sofa, closed the Intimate Paradise novel in his hand, looked up at the panting Team 7 in the distance, and a hint of disappointment flashed in his eyes. 40 points? 40 points are meaningless. At first, I thought that after completing the Rasengan, I could directly get points to upgrade the sign and reward. But there is still a long way to go before the sign and upgrade. 3 days have passed since the Country of Waves, and the sign and rewards in these 3 days are all garbage, such as Lightning-style Kirin, Fire-style Gift Pack, and Chakra Pill. Although it is not as good as expected, it is still a mediocre reward, because Kirin is a lightning style that can only be used in specific weather. Through the nature transformation of Lightning-style Chakra, it controls the real lightning in the sky. It is a rare S-level lightning style, and after he signs in to get the Lightning-style Kirin as a reward, he can use the perfect Lightning-style Kirin regardless of the weather. Fire-style Gift Pack. Rubbish. But the Chakra Pill is also quite good, that is the Otsutsuki clan using the power of Rinnegan to refine a pill that can enhance their own chakra. In short, it's better than nothing, and the Chunin exam will be held tomorrow. If these stinky tools of Class 7 can complete the Rasengan before taking the Chunin exam, it is a good thing to look forward to. After all, almost all the Jōnin leaders now think that Class 7 will be eliminated in the Chunin exam, because the overall strength of Class 7 is mediocre in the eyes of Class 7. This is what we want. When the stinky brats of Class 7 use the Rasengan in the battle, Everyone will sigh at their ability to educate people, and they can actually teach the last place to use the Rasengan. Teacher Yagyu, I have completely mastered the Rasengan. Uchiha Sasuke ran to Yagyu Tsuki's 207. He was obviously exhausted and panting, but he still put his hands in his pockets and looked at Yagyu Tsuki coldly, with an expectant look in his eyes, like a child showing off his grades to his parents. Haruno Sakura trotted all the way to Yagyu Tsuki, also looking at Yagyu Tsuki expectantly, and said with a smile, Teacher Yagyu, I have also learned the Rasengan. She clearly remembered the disappointed look on Yagyu Tsuki's face at that time, so now that she has learned the Rasengan, she hopes to get a change in Yagyu Tsuki's opinion. Really? Even if you stare at me eagerly, you can't get any reward. Yagyu Tsuki raised his hands and said with a faint smile, You use the Rasengan to attack me, and you must use your strongest power at present. To be honest, these two brats can master the Rasengan of ultimate form change within 10 days, which is indeed the top genius among geniuses. This talent alone is worthy of praise. As for the Nine-Tails brat who first mastered the Rasengan, that brat is completely cheating. Although I trained them well, these two people are very talented anyway, although I used to master the Rasengan within 3 minutes. In short, really excellent. Is it okay to use full strength? Haruno Sakura looked at the boulder destroyed by her Rasengan in the distance, and said hesitantly, Yagyu-sensei, you might. 15. Her Rasengan has the power to destroy a boulder with one blow. If she attacks the defenseless Yagyu-sensei with full force, it is very likely that Yagyu-sensei's palm will be broken. Uchiha Sasuke glanced at Haruno Sakura coldly and sneered, Idiot, how can you hurt Yagyu-sensei with your power? The enemy's strong attack before couldn't hurt Yagyu Tsuki. Haruno Sakura, this ugly girl, is actually worried that she can hurt Yagyu Tsuki with her full force attack. Dream on, idiot. Haruno Sakura felt angry. She felt that Sasuke was getting more and more annoying recently. He always mocked others with a condescending attitude, as if he was showing off in front of Yagyu-sensei. Who is the idiot? I am tolerating you for the last time. Well, the last 3 times. Uzumaki Naruto held the back of his head with both hands, looked at Sasuke's cold and arrogant face, curled his lips and complained. Tisk. You are the last one to learn Rasengan, what are you so proud of? He has been very proud in recent days because he is the first one to learn Rasengan among the 3 people in Team 7. He taunts Sasuke with the first place every day because he rarely gets the first place. It used to be Sasuke who was in the limelight, and now it's finally my turn, Naruto. The last one. Uchiha Sasuke sneered. He could see that Uzumaki Naruto was in an accident, and he blamed himself and thought that he had killed Yagyu-sensei, so he used the Rasengan based on his feeling. Uzumaki Naruto was angry, with rage in his eyes. He pointed at Uchiha Sasuke and shouted angrily, Hey, what's wrong with you? I'm the first place. Why are you still so arrogant? I'm the first place, right? Sasuke actually had the nerve to mock me? I'm so angry. Get out of here, don't bother me. Yagyu Tsuki picked up Uzumaki Naruto and threw him far away, and then completely ignored Uzumaki Naruto who was making trouble there. Yagyu Tsuki shook his palm and said, Don't worry, use all your strength. If you can hurt me, you can become Hokage tomorrow. 3rd generation old dogs can't hurt me. If Sasuke and little Sakura can hurt me, it's just as outrageous as the Arabian Nights. They're even qualified to compete for the 5th Hokage. Wishful thinking. Witness my power, Teacher Yagyu. Uchiha Sasuke put away his concerns. His eyes turned into Scarlet Two-Tomo Sharingan, and a light blue Rasengan emerged from his palm. He used the Rasengan to hit Yagyu-Yu's palm with all his strength. Ong! Rasengan hit Yagyu-Yu's palm, generating a fierce gust of wind, blowing the dust around Yagyu-Yu to both sides.
Yagyu felt the touch of his palm, thought for a moment and said, 8 points.
Uchiha Brat opened Sharingan to use Rasengan. It's a bit more powerful than Nine-Tails Brat's Rasengan. But due to the current chakra amount, Uchiha Brat can only use it about 3 times a day, and can't use Rasengan almost unlimited times like Nine-Tails Brat. Of course, every time Uchiha Brat's Sharingan is upgraded, its own chakra amount can be greatly improved. Very good. Uchiha Sasuke raised the corner of his mouth slightly, put away the scarlet double-grooved Sharingan, and glanced proudly at the Vortex Naruto in the distance. Naruto, the idiot, had previously received 7 points. And he received 8 points. What's the meaning of first place? The strength of power is everything, Teacher Yagyu, please be careful. Haruno Sakura grasped the white wrist, and a light blue Rasengan emerged from his palm. He looked at Yagyu Tsuki's calm attitude, hesitated for a moment, and then used all his strength to hit Yagyu Tsuki's palm.
Yagyu Tsuki felt the touch of his palm and said thoughtfully, 5 points, too little chakra was injected.
Although it is impossible to break Gaara's sand armor, it can at least solve many genin of this generation with one blow. The power is very weak, but it's okay. Haruno Sakura Rasengan is the weakest in Team 7 because the amount of chakra injected is too little. Although Rasengan is only an A-level move, it will change according to the amount of chakra injected. As long as chakra is injected hard, the power can be infinitely increased. Although Haruno Sakura Rasengan is very weak, it controls the flow of chakra very perfectly. Who is Gaara? Haruno Sakura didn't care about the so-called 5 points, because she knew very well that she was not as powerful as Naruto and Sasuke. Yagyu Tsuki said, your enemy tomorrow. Is there a mission tomorrow? Uchiha Sasuke looked cold on the surface, but he was looking forward to the mission tomorrow because he had just mastered the Rasengan and wanted to test this new power. This time, even if I encounter an enemy like the Mist Ninja Demon, I should be able to fight with my current strength, right? As long as I follow Mr. Yagyu again, I will soon gain enough power for revenge. Yagyu Tsuki took out 3 registration forms, pointed to the contents of the registration forms and said, there is an exam. Tomorrow is the Chunin selection exam. Write your names and I will help you register. Chunin selection exam? Everyone in class 7 was stunned. After a moment, everyone was excited and felt pressured. They had just become genin not long ago, and they had to take the Chunin exam? Write it, and you pay the registration fee yourself. Lu Shangyu's hand trembled slightly, and 3 wallets appeared out of thin air and fell into his palm. He cushioned the weight of the wallet and put the wallet into his pocket with satisfaction. My wallet. Haruno Sakura looked at the wallet that was taken away and said speechlessly, there is no registration fee for taking the Chunin exam, right? She knew that there was no need to pay any registration fee for taking the village selection exam, no matter what exam it was. Mr. Lu Sheng just took the opportunity to rob money. That money was my last savings, and I was thinking about buying new clothes today. Yagyu Tsuki touched Haruno Sakura's head and said with a smile, money will make people fall into darkness. I will help you carry the burden forward. Haruno Sakura's mouth twitched slightly. She wanted to complain now, but she couldn't think of any rebuttal. Alas. When can I wear new clothes? Chunin selection exam, very good. Uchiha Sasuke didn't care about the wallet. He quickly filled in his name on the form. He wanted to pass this Chunin selection exam and tell everyone that he, Uchiha Sasuke, was the strongest genin in this class. Just mastering a new powerful power, he will be very confident when taking the Chunin exam. Everyone in class 7 filled in the registration form. Haruno Sakura asked curiously, participating in the exam depends on the completion of the task, right? We have only completed 1 C-level task, are we eligible to participate in the Chunin selection exam? She heard from Yamanaka Ino yesterday that if you want to participate in the Chunin selection exam, you need to complete 5 D-level tasks and 3 C-level tasks. At present, Team 7 has not done any D-level tasks, and has only completed 1 C-level task. The C-level task in Wave Country some time ago made her understand how terrible C-level tasks are. In C-level tasks, you will encounter A-level rebels and even a bunch of S-level rebels, but Team 10, where Ino is, can actually complete 3 C-level tasks. This is simply terrible. Is Team 10 so strong? Yagyu Tsuki put away the registration form and said casually, it's okay, I have someone above me. If you want to sign up for the Chunin exam, you do need to see how well you complete the mission. It stands to reason that all ninjas must follow the rules, but he ignores all the rules. Even if Team 7 hasn't completed any missions, it's just a matter of a word to participate in the Chunin exam. So dark. Haruno Sakura complained. If you have someone above you, you can ignore the rules. Is this the dirty adult world? The first round is a written test, you don't need to write anything. The examiner will definitely give me a face. As for the second round. Yagyu Tsuki took out 2 scrolls from his pocket. The 2 strange scrolls were one black and one white. One had the word, Earth, written on it and the other had the word, Sky, written on it. Just take the Earth coiling axis to pass the level. The examiner of this Chunin exam had been beaten up by him before, so he would give him a face no matter what. Everyone in class 7 looked at the Earth coiling axis, and everyone was speechless. Is it really okay to do this in the Chunin selection exam? Haruno Sakura picked up the Earth coiling axis and said hesitantly, we will be eliminated if we are found cheating. Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand and said, it's okay, I have someone above me. Yagyu Tsuki instructed, besides, the first 2 games are meaningless, just give your all in the 3rd game, and use the Rasengan boldly. To be honest, with the current comprehensive strength of class 7, even if they can use moves like Rasengan, they will definitely not be able to beat Gaara and his people. At present, the strongest person in this Chunin selection exam should be Gaara, followed by Rock Lee, Hyuga Neji, and little Hinata. Hinata's current strength is considerable, after all, she is a little lowly raised by herself. But at least using the Rasengan in public can help her pretend to be awesome. In short, things are unpredictable, and victory is possible. But the best development is that Team 7 uses Rasengan to show off, and then everyone loses before the finals. This will not only increase the pressure on Team 7, but also inspire Team 7 to become stronger. Don't worry, I will definitely use the power you taught me to win this Chunin selection exam. Uchiha Sasuke raised his head coldly and looked at Yagyu Tsuki's face confidently. He was very grateful for Yagyu Tsuki's teachings, and found that Yagyu Tsuki was a man who loved face, so he would defeat everyone no matter what and win this Chunin selection exam. If all members of Team 7 were defeated, Teacher Yagyu would be very embarrassed and would probably be disappointed with Team 7. So he must win. He is a person who has a clear distinction between love and hate. Moreover, I also want to prove to everyone that I, Uchiha Sasuke, I'm the only genius and the strongest ninja among all the genins of this year. Uzumaki Naruto punched his palm and said with a sunny and passionate smile, I will defeat all opponents, win the Chunin exam, and make everyone look at me with new eyes. Finally, I have come to this step. After I defeat everyone and become a Chunin, Sakura-chan will also look at me with new eyes, right? Sakura-chan, take a good look at my performance, and Yagyu-sensei, open your eyes wide and watch my performance. I will pass this Chunin selection exam and make you recognize my existence even more. Very good, perfect, it feels good just thinking about it. Haruno Sakura has no confidence and said with a forced smile, I will also work hard. Yagyu Tsuki said casually, 0.5, right? Work hard. You little brats, don't really win. It's fine if we can just make it to the finals. If all the members of Class 7 really win, how can I put pressure on them? You little brats, sit still. Yagyu waved his hands. Everyone in Class 7 looked confused, but they still sat on the ground. Yagyu took out a lollipop, unwrapped it, put it in his mouth, sipped it, and said lightly, the Chunin exam is tomorrow, so let's start a new practice today. Although tomorrow is the Chunin exam, exams don't matter. The stinky tools are practicing hard like crazy. I can get better rewards after increasing the points, so even if the sky falls and the earth collapses, Team 7 must practice hard for me. As long as Team 7 practices hard, good rewards are just around the corner. It would be best to sign in some Zanpakuto, some Samsara Sharingan, some X-Curry Sticks, some One Punch Man, these impressive abilities beyond the scope of ninjas. With new powers, you can pretend more happily. Of course, immortality is the best. Haruno Sakura recalled Yagyu Tsuki's previous explanation and asked curiously, is Teacher Yagyu going to teach us the nature transformation of chakra attributes? Nature transformation? Even Uchiha Sasuke was a little excited. He still clearly remembered that Yagyu Tsuki used lightning-style Rasengan. That's enough to destroy the Kyuubi mountain in an instant. If you can master the power that Yagyu teacher had at that time, you should be able to have the strength to kill that man, right? Uzumaki Naruto folded his hands in front of his chest, tilted his head and muttered in confusion, what is the star transformation? Stupid, it's chakra's nature transformation, you should listen to Yagyu teacher in the future. Haruno Sakura glared at Naruto unhappily. No hope, don't be wishful thinking, with your ability, there is no hope at all. Yagyu said lightly, what I want to teach you is the power of the 100 healings, which is the unique power of that crazy woman. 63. Capture Tsunade is free labor. Crazy B*****. Team 7 was slightly startled. What is the power of 100 healings? Who is the crazy B*****? After a moment of confusion, Team 7's heroic back appeared in their minds, and they gradually showed an expression of sudden realization. The crazy B**** should be referring to Tsunade's wife, right? Haruno Sakura's pretty face was blank, and she asked hesitantly, what is the power of 100 healings? Is the power of 100 healings the power of Tsunade's wife? If I remember correctly, when fighting the enemy in the Land of Waves, Tsunade's wife never used ninjutsu from beginning to end, right? Yagyu Tsuki said lightly, the power of 100 healings? Strictly speaking, it is the power of 100 healings, which can be understood as a man-made acquired bloodline limit. The power of 100 healings is a very unique ability without classification. Its comprehensive effect is more like a bloodline limit. It is currently one of the best Super S-level skills in the entire ninja world, and its comprehensive effect is even more outrageous than many bloodline limits. If there is a category, it should be medical. Haruno Sakura complained, saying so much is like saying nothing. You are no different from that idiot Naruto. Uchiha Sasuke glanced at Haruno Sakura coldly, then looked at the confused Uzumaki Naruto, sneered and said, Teacher Yagyu has already said it very clearly, the blood limit is a natural power, and the artificial acquired blood limit is very strong. To be honest, he didn't understand what the power of the 100 heroes was, but at least he knew that the blood limit was very rare, and the artificial acquired blood limit must be a very strong power. It's enough to know that it's very strong, since completing the mission in the Land of Waves. Uchiha Sasuke has always had a knot in his heart. After witnessing Uzumaki Naruto's demon fox coat, he has always remembered the tyrannical power, and it is that power that makes him very annoyed. In addition, Uzumaki Naruto is the first person in Team 7 to fully master the Rasengan, which adds fuel to his anger. What a joke. A mere tale. I am a member of the Uchiha clan.
Haruno Sakura was filled with anger, and snorted, you didn't understand anything either.
It's so annoying. What's wrong with Sasuke recently? Why does he always bring me along when he taunts Naruto? And, from what Sasuke said, we can tell that Sasuke didn't understand anything either. 03 is still forcing himself to explain to Mr. Yagyu. It's meaningless to talk about so many theories. Practice is the most effective way, Haruno Sakura. Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand. Who is Ping Shang? Hey, Haruno Sakura was about to refute Yagyu Tsuki, but when she heard Yagyu Tsuki calling her name, she walked towards Yagyu Tsuki with a surprised expression. Yagyu Tsuki stood up and walked to the tree, raised his hand and tapped the hard trunk. The trunk was very hard, so he nodded with satisfaction. He pointed at the tree and said, Stinky brat, hit it with all your strength. Haruno Sakura touched the tree, feeling the hardness of the tree that was almost as hard as steel, and asked with concern and hesitation on her pretty face, "Will I get hurt if I hit it? Hit the tree with all my strength? I'm afraid my hand will be broken if I punch it."
Yagyu Tsuki said, "It's okay, don't worry, hit it, and you must use all your strength." Okay. Haruno Sakura looked at Yagyu Tsuki's confident attitude, and she decided to believe Yagyu Tsuki's suggestion once. She clenched her fist and took a step back, then punched the tree with all her strength.
Could it be any miraculous effect? Crack! Haruno Sakura's white fist hit the tree, and then the hand bones made a crisp sound, which made everyone in Team 7 feel numb. Hiss! Ah! It hurts! Haruno Sakura's expression was distorted, and she squatted on the ground with her broken hand, making a heart-wrenching roar. A full-strength blow broke the hand. Yagyu Tsuki looked at Sasuke and Naruto, chuckled and said, "See, with your weak physical strength, without any support, hitting it with full strength will definitely bleed and break bones." Vortex Naruto looked at Haruno Sakura who was kneeling on the ground, holding his broken hand and crying, and said cautiously and worriedly, Sakura-chan? Are you sick? You knew it would hurt, but you asked me to hit the tree with full strength?" Haruno Sakura's face was distorted with pain, and he looked at Yagyu Tsuki with tears in his eyes. There seemed to be anger in his eyes, as if he wanted to kill Yagyu Tsuki. "I thought it would have some miraculous effect just now, but I didn't expect that Yagyu teacher wanted to use my broken hand to tell Team 7 that hitting a tree with pure physical strength would break a bone. Are you sick? I'm a girl, let Naruto or Sasuke do it. Yagyu teacher is so biased, don't look at me like that. Treat the pain of failure as experience, it will make you stronger every time." Lu Shungyue grabbed Haruno Sakura's broken hand, and light blue chakra emerged from the palm. After the red and swollen wrist was covered by light blue chakra, the wrist gradually became intact. "It doesn't hurt anymore." Haruno Sakura looked at his healed hand and tried to clench his fist. He didn't feel any pain at all. It was so painful just now, but now he can't feel any pain at all. What is the light blue chakra used by Lu Sheng teacher? What a magical ninjutsu. There's no need to think of me as the kind of man who bullies women for pleasure. I called you because you are the only one in Team 7 who can do what I'm going to say later. Lu Shungyue touched Haruno Sakura's head and smiled slightly, although it's quite exciting to see a woman cry. Among the 3 brats in Team 7, Haruno Sakura is the best at controlling chakra. The last sentence is unnecessary. Haruno Sakura complained, then looked at Lu Shungyue curiously and asked, "What is the only thing I can do now?" "If you hit a tree with pure physical strength, it will break the bone." "What if you add chakra?" Lu Shungyue pointed at the tree and said, "Control chakra to flow to your hand, and then hit it with all your strength." "Control chakra?" Haruno Sakura looked at the tree in front of her, a trace of fear flashed in her eyes, and she swallowed secretly when she recalled the heart-wrenching pain of the fracture just now. She was a little scared. "Don't be afraid, believe me." Lu Shungyue slapped Haruno Sakura's drum, and the encouraging tone gave people a sense of security. Haruno Sakura looked at Lu Shungyue's handsome face, and the fear in her heart disappeared. Her delicate and fair face blushed slightly, and she answered subconsciously like a fangirl, "Okay. Wait a minute. The drum hurts. Teacher Yagyu is so annoying, must he take advantage of me? Next time you take advantage of me, I will tell Master Tsunade." Haruno Sakura glared at Yagyu Tsuki shyly. Uzumaki Naruto pointed at Haruno Sakura and shouted angrily, Hey, Teacher Yagyu broke your bones, why are you blushing now? So annoying. Are handsome guys that good? Huh, Haruno Sakura ignored Uzumaki Naruto, slowly closed his eyes to feel the flow of chakra, and controlled the flow of chakra to all the acupuncture points on his right hand. After a few seconds, he suddenly opened his eyes and hit the tree with all his strength. Bang! After Haruno Sakura's fist hit the bark, the whole tree began to shake violently, and a large number of leaves fell to the ground like a downpour. A small and exquisite fist mark remained on the tree. Ding! The system said, gain 1 growth point, current growth value is 75 bronze points. Did I hit this? Haruno Sakura felt the slight pain in her fist, looked at the indented fist mark on the tree, and gradually showed an unbelievable expression. She thought her hand would be broken, but she didn't expect it to be just a little painful. And the power of the punch containing chakra just now has completely surpassed the normal full-strength punch. It's like a layer of hard armor on the fist just now. You just used very little chakra. If you can control all the chakra to flow in one direction at the moment of attack, there will be miraculous effects that you can't imagine. Lu Shungyue raised his hand and tapped the bark of the tree with his fingertips. Ong! Lu Shungyue flicked his finger, and the tree as hard as steel trembled, and then the whole tree was uprooted and flew out, flying a distance of 10 sections before falling heavily on the ground. This is the so-called strange power, and it is also the power most commonly used by crazy women. Yagyu Tsuki patted the dust off his hands, turned around and looked at the people in Team 7 calmly, raised a finger and a light blue chakra appeared on the tip of the finger. Wow! So powerful! Everyone in Team 7 was shocked, staring at the tree that was blown far away in amazement, and everyone felt a sense of fear in their hearts. When Mr. Yagyu flicks his fingers, there is a terrible power, which can kill people directly. Everyone in Team 7 is excited. If they can master such a powerful force, each punch can be more powerful than Rasengan. Yagyu said, as long as you can perfectly control the flow of chakra, you can strengthen the power of all parts of the body, and even improve the defense of the body. This is the strange experience of Miaoji. Yes, all parts. You can even strengthen that part, but I don't need to strengthen that part, because my part is already stronger than everything. Whoever uses it knows it, and those who have used it say it's good. Uchiha Sasuke frowned and asked, is this move difficult to learn? Although Mr. Yagyu said it very easily, there should be few people in the whole ninja world who can do it one step. Because it is extremely difficult to control the flow of chakra and make the whole body chakra flow to one point at the moment of attack. Yagyu Tsuki said, it should be difficult. The power of 100 healings is a super S-level move, and it is also the most special S-level in the world. It can even crush many bloodline limits, because simply controlling the flow of chakra is meaningless. What needs to be controlled is the nature transformation of Yang attribute chakra. The 100 healings is a kind of extraordinary absolute violence that uses the nature transformation of Yang attribute chakra to ultimate, and even its omnipotent effect exceeds most bloodline limits. Of course, the powerful moves are just moves, and the extent to which they are used depends on the individual. Even if the stinky brats in Team 7 master the 100 healings now, they will still be instantly killed by other Tsunades of the strong cage level. Because the magnitude is more important than everything. Yagyu Tsuki raised 2 fingers and said, there are only 2 people in the world who can use the 100 healings. One is me, and the other is the crazy woman. The 100 healings is Tsunade's unique secret, and it is also a skill created by Tsunade himself. Before that night, the only person who could use the 100 healings was Tsunade. Any ninja can master the power of the 100 healings through training, but if you want to master the power of the 100 healings, you must know the secret of the 100 healings. This power alone is meaningless. The strongest of the 100 healings is ninja art. Meiotic regeneration. Even if you are cut in half, as long as you have chakra, you can heal instantly, but this level of recovery is not as strong as your own sage body recovery. Super S-Class. Everyone in Team 7 was excited. It was their first time to come into contact with the S-Class field. There should not be many ninjas in the world who can master the S-Class. No matter how you think about it, the S-Class is a kind of ultimate trump card. And Mr. Yagyu is willing to give us such a powerful move. How can we live up to Mr. Yagyu's expectations? We must practice harder than before, and do our best in the Chunin exam, and we must respond to Mr. Yagyu's expectations. After a moment of excitement, everyone in Class 7 stood up in awe and looked up at Yagyu Tsuki with admiration. Uzumaki Naruto's expression determined. He pushed his forehead protector and said firmly, Mr. Yagyu, I will definitely respond to your expectations and work hard to become a Hokage for you to see. Since Mr. Yagyu taught me the S level, it means that he recognizes my existence, and I must respond to Mr. Yagyu's expectations. I blamed Mr. Yagyu. Haruno Sakura thought secretly in his heart as he looked at the handsome profile of Yagyu Tsuki. When I first met Mr. Yagyu, I thought he was a frivolous scumbag and a teacher who had no sense of responsibility at all. But Mr. Yagyu is indeed helping our Team 7 to become stronger again and again. Yagyu Tsuki is the most responsible teacher in the world. Her attitude has completely changed. But, taking advantage, I still have to scold him. I am still a girl who has never been in love. How can I let others take advantage of me? If Mr. Yagyu takes advantage of me, I will go and tell Tsunade sensei about it. HMPH. Uchiha Sasuke raised his mouth slightly. Since the Uchiha clan was exterminated, no one has ever taught him to practice. Although Yagyu Tsuki's attitude is bad, no matter what, under Yagyu Tsuki's teaching, Uchiha Sasuke is getting stronger quickly and gradually gaining enough power for revenge. In his eyes, Yagyu Tsuki is more like a brother than Uchiha Itachi who killed the whole clan. Really? Work hard. Yagyu Tsuki looked at everyone in Team 7 strangely. Judging from the expressions of Team 7, these brats seem to be imagining something, but it doesn't matter. It's troublesome to explain so many things. Although the power of 100 healings is very effective, it is just a trick of ordinary ninjas. The ninja art. Meiotic regeneration that 100 healings actively uses is just its passive ability. In short, practice hard for me. Only when the stinking cash cows become stronger like desperately, can I gain stronger and more invincible abilities. Students work hard, and teachers become stronger. Students work hard, and teachers pretend to be cool. Perfect. Although the idea is very lazy, but people always have some desires. Yagyu Tsuki clapped his hands and said, line up, I will draw you the 100 healings mark. This is a seal that can store chakra and is also the core power of 100 healings. The reason why the entire ninja world cannot use the 100 healings is because no one knows the secret of the 100 healings mark, and no one knows how to use it except Tsunade, that crazy woman. But, he knows everything. A few minutes later. Everyone in Class 7 has been engraved with the 100 healings mark. They all have a strange diamond-shaped mark between their eyebrows. This strange diamond-shaped mark between their eyebrows gives everyone in Class 7 a strange feeling. Haruno Sakura stroked the diamond mark between his eyebrows and said in confusion, strange, there is no change. Yagyu Tsukishima flicked Haruno Sakura's forehead and said, don't worry about it, just leave it alone. Your chakra will overflow after the daily limit, and the overflowed chakra will be automatically stored here. When you want to use it, just unlock the 100 healings mark. Trees are buried in the soil, and food is eaten with the mouth. Everyone has their own specialty. Stand still. Today I will introduce you to a class teacher. As soon as the voice fell, Yagyu Tsuki disappeared out of thin air. Everyone in class 7 waited in confusion. A few minutes later, Ong! Yagyu Tsuki appeared in an instant with Tsunade in her arms. Idiot, let me go. Tsunade was carried by Yagyu Tsuki like a kitten, with her limbs dangling in the air, and a bottle of wine in her hand. She was just in a very Shizune was drinking happily and was a little tipsy when she was taken away by Yagyu Tsuki, who suddenly appeared. The reason why she stayed in the village temporarily was to wait for the big show that Yagyu Tsuki said. She was a little confused about what happened that would endanger the life and death of the third Hokage, and what did the old friend mean? Yagyu Tsuki lifted Tsunade to her face, looked at Tsunade's cute drunken face, and said with a faint smile, "You teach the brats super strength. I believe in your ability to teach people. Sister Juru can teach Team 7 super strength more effectively, because the 100 healings is a skill developed by Sister Juru. For now, let's catch Sister Juru and be a free laborer. As for me, I will be a hands-off boss for the time being. Because there are still many things to deal with, huh?" Tsunade was still carried by Yagyu Tsuki, looking at Yagyu Tsuki's face close at hand strangely. The grinning old white-haired guy, teaching the 7th team super strength? You want me to be a free laborer, right? You are dreaming. I am drinking happily with Shizune, and you want to use me as a free laborer? You are so bold. If I agree to this troublesome thing, I will change my last name to Yagyu. Open black lens bracket 64 close black lens bracket challenge scroll. Hyuga Hinata. Yagyu Tsuki said, "Anyway, teach them your 100 healings. I still have some things to deal with here. I have no obligation to teach these idiots." Tsunade opened Yagyu Tsuki's hand, dropped to the ground and glanced at the people in Team 7. Seeing the silly face of Uzumaki Naruto, he said heroically and forcefully, "You look silly. I have nothing to teach you. Teach people? Dream on. I would be drinking happily if I had time to teach people, and I haven't played in the latest casino in the village yet. The most important thing is, the damn white-haired man actually asked me to teach Team 7 the 100 healings? With the talents of these stinky brats in Team 7, how could they master my unique 100 healings? If they want to master the 100 healings, they need to become medical ninjas first and be able to perfectly control the flow of chakra. Before they can start learning the nature transformation of yang power. The nature transformation of yang power is several times more difficult than the nature transformation of fire, wind, and thunder, and the 100 healings is the ultimate of the yang attribute nature transformation. And the 100 healings mark in the power of 100 healings is a unique ability in the entire ninja world. It is an original ability that only she can use. Who would have nothing better to do than to teach her trump card to the silly strangers of Team 7? In her eyes, Team 7 is a stranger, and Yagyu Tsuki is just a dead white-haired guy. Huh? Suddenly, just as Tsunade was about to punch Yagyu Tsuki, she suddenly turned back and looked at Team 7 again, glancing at the mark between the eyebrows of all the members of Team 7. This is 100 healings mark, right? Even with Tsunade's personality, after seeing the 100 healings mark of Team 7, the whole person gradually widened his eyes and was stunned. Why does Team 7 have the 100 healings mark? No matter how you think about it, it must be the trick of the dead white-haired guy. But the problem is, 100 healings mark is a seal that I developed myself. How to use it is a secret that only I know in the world. Why does the dead white-haired guy know this secret? Will you use my ability? Tsunade turned around and grabbed the collar of Yagyu Tsuki fiercely, but this time she did not stand on tiptoe to look at Yagyu Tsuki, but kept a distance from him intentionally or unintentionally, as if she was afraid of being kissed by Yagyu Tsuki suddenly. I have never had contact with the dead white hair before. How could the dead white hair use his ability? There is no need to be so far away. What are you afraid of? Lu Shunyue took a step forward. Tsunade took a step back in panic. He took 2 steps forward again. Tsunade took 2 steps back in panic. Don't mind me. Tsunade was wary of Lu Shunyue. She was really afraid of being kissed by Lu Shunyue. She asked coldly, "Stupid, answer me quickly. Why did you use my ability? What's yours and mine? If I use it, it's mine, and what's yours is mine. We don't need to be so clear about our family." Lu Shunyue instantly came behind Tsunade, hugged Tsunade from behind, and said in a sexy tone in Tsunade's ear, "You know my strengths and weaknesses, so I naturally know your secrets. I know more than you think. Get lost. Who is your family?" Tsunade's delicate and heroic face blushed slightly, and he turned around and shook off the hand that was hugged by Lu Shunyue, and said emphatically, "The 100 healings is the art I developed. The 100 healings was obviously developed by me, and the 100 healings mark was also developed with great effort. The dead white-haired man is quite good at getting close. How dare you say that we are a family?" Lu Shunyue said speechlessly, "You have a strong sense of copyright. The second Hokage also has a strong sense of copyright. Do all the Senju lineage pay so much attention to copyright? I still have something to do, and I will leave the little brats to you. Work hard, little master's wife." Lu Shengyue patted Tsunade's head, and then used his body to disappear out of thin air. After Lu Shengyue disappeared, the whole audience fell into silence, and everyone in Team 7 did not dare to speak, because they knew how hot-tempered Tsunade was. Tsunade did not speak, staring at everyone in Team 7 indifferently, and after a moment, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he sighed secretly in his heart. I give in. What can a dead white-haired person do? He should have gone to find Yuhi Kurenai, right? Being a hands-off boss, he went to find women to play with, leaving me here as a free labor calendar? Tsunade stared at Class 7 for a while, thinking freely in his heart. Okay, let's go on strike. Wait a minute. We can go on strike, but with the character of the dead white-haired person, I'm afraid he will find a way to bully me. What if he does the same thing as that night? It's so troublesome no matter what. Teach him, teach him. Suddenly, Tsunade knelt on the ground, covered his mouth, and made a slight retching sound, Haruno Sakura hurried over, supported Tsunade, who looked pale, and said worriedly, Master's wife, are you okay? You can sober up if you drink too much. Very good. Since the teacher in charge is the Master's wife, I should be able to impress the Master's wife if I take the initiative to care about her. Stupid, how could I vomit after drinking? Tsunade shook off Haruno Sakura's hand. She had already used chakra to evaporate the alcohol, but why did she feel nauseous? Could it be? Tsunade suddenly thought of something, but gave up the idea after a moment. How is it possible? I have no obligation to teach you, but since you have already agreed, just start practicing. What is your progress now? Tsunade adjusted her state and looked at the people in Team 7 coldly. Just started practicing. Everyone in Class 7 sat down obediently. The reason why they sat down obediently and put on an attitude of listening seriously was because in their eyes, Tsunade was Yagyu Tsuki's girlfriend. Since she was the Master's wife, of course she should be respected, and they were also looking forward to mastering the Super S level 100 healings power as soon as possible. The most important thing was, they felt that Master Tsunade was the kind of person who would beat others to death. If they, Class 7, messed around with Teacher Yagyu would also mess around with them depending on the situation. But if you mess around with Master Tsunade, you will probably be beaten badly, you are quite honest. Tsunade was surprised. The dead white-haired man taught you well. Start learning from the basics. The dead white-haired man asked me to teach you super strength, so there is no need to learn medical knowledge. After you master the Yang attributed nature transformation, you can heal your wounds by unsealing the seal on your forehead. Tsunade said. Although Yagyu Tsuki didn't say so much, she could roughly understand Yagyu Tsuki's intention. The reason why the dead white-haired man first set the 100 healings mark for Team 7 should be to skip the medical training directly and let Team 7 learn only the super strength and 100 healings mark among the 100 healings. It should be to pave the way for the later training, right? But with the character of dead white-haired man who does whatever he wants, he actually really educates Team 7 seriously. To be honest, this matter is a bit outrageous. Wait a minute. Dead white-haired man seems to hate the old men in the upper echelons of the village very much, and the ones he hates the most are Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. Could it be that dead white-haired man specially educates Team 7 to cultivate a force that can be fully controlled from the bottom of the village? Very likely. Otherwise, with dead white-haired man's character, how could he specially cultivate Team 7? Haruno Sakura knelt on the ground, looking at Tsunade who was in deep thought, and whispered, Master's wife, please continue to explain. Tsunade glared at Haruno Sakura and accused him, don't call me Master's wife. Haruno Sakura was startled. Everyone in Team 7 was confused. What should they call the hand? Tsunade-sensei. Tsunade-sister. Tsunade-sama. Uchiha Sasuke raised his lips slightly, showing a confident smile, and glanced at Haruno Sakura with an idiotic look. Since Tsunade is Yagyu-sensei's girlfriend, there is only one name that will satisfy Tsunade. Mrs. Yagyu. Uchiha Sasuke sneered. Bang! Uchiha Sasuke was knocked away by a punch, and after rolling on the ground for several circles, a large mouthful of scarlet blood spurted out of his mouth, and then his head tilted and he fainted. Who taught you to call like that? Tsunade's face was terribly cold, and he looked at the unconscious Sasuke coldly and forcefully. Light blue chakra emerged from his palm, instantly healing Uchiha Sasuke's injuries, and then he slapped Sasuke, who was in a sleeping state, to wake him up with 2 slaps. The master's wife is already shy enough. He even called out the more shameful, Mrs. Yagyu, as if I was married to Yagyu Tsuki. The damn white-haired man specifically asked me to teach Team 7, in order to get Team 7's help, right? What a show. Naruto and little Sakura looked terrified, sitting neatly on the ground, their heartbeats gradually began to speed up. Cold sweat rolled down their backs, they didn't dare to move or look back at Sasuke. Tsunade's wife is so scary. Tsunade-sama. Tsunade-sama. Even Uchiha Sasuke showed a trace of trepidation. Start practicing. Tsunade's expression eased a little, walked to the side of a big tree, looked at Haruno Sakura who was sitting with a forced smile, pointed at the big tree next to him and said, You are Haruno Sakura, hit this tree with all your strength. I hit it. Haruno Sakura's mouth twitched slightly, she just hit the tree with all her strength and her hand was broken. Now Tsunade actually wants her to hit the tree again. It seems, just like teacher Yagyu. Tsunade asked, really? In other words, the dead white-haired man taught you how to use super strength, but you can't use it well at present, right? Haruno Sakura replied obediently, yes, Yin Z. Uzumaki Naruto was flustered and thought secretly in his heart. Teacher Yagyu, please come back soon. Master Tsunade is too scary. Fortunately, Sasuke, that arrogant guy, was the one who showed off before me, otherwise I would have been the one who got beaten just now. Since you know the theory, let's start the actual combat directly. The three of you will attack me with all your strength. Tsunade threw the green coat back, clenched his white little fist, and sneered at the people in Team 7. I am the best medical ninja. Even if I beat you to the point of death, I can easily heal you. Don't worry, I am the legendary Sannin. One finger is enough to deal with little brats like you. Tsunade raised a finger and looked down at Team 7 confidently. It really seems. Everyone in Team 7 complained in their hearts at the same time. Tsunade is very similar to teacher Yagyu, just like a female version of Yagyu Yu. At this time, in the distance, Yagyu Yu put her hands on her eyes and looked at Team 7 that was infinitely beaten away in the distance. She nodded with satisfaction. It seems to be going well. The crazy woman can actually understand my intention. Then I will try my best here. First of all, I will skip work for a day to drink. Yagyu Yu stretched comfortably. Chunin exam. Tomorrow? Since you like to do things together, let's die together. Time passed slowly. The bright moon was in the sky, and the stars were twinkling. The entire 7th training ground was full of potholes and had become a concave wasteland, with huge pits everywhere, and the members of the 7th team were lying on the ground in a mess with blood all over their bodies. Let's stop here. Tsunade picked up the coat on the ground and looked at Haruno Sakura with admiration.
Haruno Sakura. In terms of controlling chakra, she is a very talented ninja. It can even be said that Haruno Sakura is the most talented in controlling chakra among all the people she has met.
If she can learn medical knowledge well, she should be able to become a better medical ninja than Shizune. Moreover, Haruno Sakura learns superpowers very quickly. She is the fastest person in the 7th team. She can touch the trick of superpowers in just one day. If she teaches herself, she should be able to train Haruno Sakura into an excellent medical ninja. It's a pity that this excellent girl is a student of the dead white hair. Tsunade left the 7th training ground. She wanted to continue to find Shizune to drink. Uzumaki Naruto was covered in blood and his face was swollen like a bun. He said vaguely with a sausage mouth, Will I die? Kings? He was beaten by Tsunade several times and several bones in his abdomen were broken. Although the injuries have been healed by Tsunade, the nightmare-like pain still remains. So strong, you are worthy of being Mr. Yagyu. Uchiha Sasuke got up in a mess and looked at Tsunade's gradually receding back in shock. She is worthy of being Mr. Yagyu's girlfriend. As strong as a monster. If I can also have this power, I should be able to kill that man completely, right? At this time, the Hyuga family mansion. Ding! The system said, gained 10 growth points, and the current growth value is 85 bronze points. 10 points? It is indeed very effective in actual combat. Yagyu Yu ate sugared watermelon and recalled the scene of Team 7 being beaten infinitely. It is indeed effective to fight once in a while, but fighting all the time can improve very little. At least you have to complete a training before fighting. Because the purpose of fighting is to master the abilities that have been learned before. Today is the first time for the 7th team to use Rasengan for fighting, so they can gain a certain degree of growth value. It is past midnight, sign in. Get the character challenge ticket, Hyuga Hinata, come. Please accept the challenge within 3 days. If you refuse or do not accept the challenge for more than 3 days, the sign-in reward will be stopped for 1 week. Challenge content, have S*X with Hyuga Hinata. Complete the challenge and get Tenseigan. The system congratulations to the master for winning the mysterious prize. Huh? Lu Shengyue paused while eating watermelon. Even after he heard the sign-in content, he felt a sense of surprise in his heart. Challenge tickets are good, and Tenseigan is also very strong. It is fun and you can get rewards, it is perfect. But the problem is, Hinata. Open black lens bracket 65 close black lens bracket late night gentle fist, Hyuga Hinata has grown up. Yagyu Tsuki said in his heart, start the challenge. This damn sign in reward of the broken system, is it helping me to advance the progress of the harem? It's fun and you can gain power, it's like eating for free and you have to pack it up. It's a pity that the rewards of the challenge tickets seem to be all powers within the world view. The power of the 100 heroes was obtained before, and now the reward is Tenseigan. Because Hinata is a Hyuga clan, the reward is Tenseigan. But don't say it. Tenseigan is indeed a considerable power. It is the power of 6 paths, which is as famous as Rinnegan. If Rinnegan is the legendary power of creation, then Tenseigan is the ultimate power of destruction. Tenseigan can cut the moon in one blow. Although I didn't think of forcibly pushing Hinata down, Tenseigan is a free ability anyway, and it's a free 6 paths level ability. Start the challenge, the time limit is 1 day, if the challenge fails, stop signing in for 2 weeks, and get Tenseigan after completing the challenge. The system said, Master, come on. What should I do now? Yagyu Tsuki stood up, stroking his chin thoughtfully, and slowly walked towards the training dojo in the Hyuga mansion. There is no emotional foundation for Sister Ju-Ru, so she can only be pushed down by force, but little Hinata's favorability is directly maxed out, so there is no need to force it. Hinata is soft, cute and easy to push down. Although I have been very busy recently, busy with obtaining new powers, I have no time to deal with Hinata's affairs, and I also want to wait until Hinata grows up and turns 16 before doing those adult things. After all, Hinata is a good girl, and I must get along well with her, but at present, in order to get the challenge reward of Tenseigan, I can only promote the plan to accept Hinata first. Let's try to play straight first. If playing straight doesn't work, anyway, I have to get Tenseigan. Power is above all else, only with power can you pretend to be cool and pick up girls. At this time, the dojo. Who? Hyuga Hinata sat cross-legged on the ground, feeling the flow of her own chakra. She was wearing a black vest and shorts that were very easy to move around in. The tight clothes were tightly attached to her skin, wrapping her petite and curvy figure, outlining a figure that was beyond her age. The black short hair was soaked with sweat, and the strands of hair stuck to her fair cheeks. A childlike giant, Hyuga Hinata was very small and delicate, but she had all the meat where it should be. She was a perfect top-level giant embryo. Ninjutsu Double Lion Fist. Hyuga Hinata suddenly opened her eyes, and light blue chakra emerged from her hands. After the chakra changed its form, it turned into a lion head. She stepped hard on the ground with her white and tender feet, and slapped the huge stone in front of her with the chakra lion head covering her hands. Boom boom. The palms covered with blue lions slapped the surface of the giant stone. In just a moment, the entire stone, which was several times larger than her, was shattered into pieces by the white and tender palms. The twin lion fist used by Hyuga Hinata was a move that Yagyu Tsuki taught her a few months ago. Although it is impossible to use the chakra's form change to ultimate like Rasengan, it is still a very powerful form change move. Hyuga Hinata put away the chakra, looked at the small stones scattered on the ground, and her cute face showed a worried expression. She muttered to herself, it should be okay, right? She was preparing for the Chunin exam tomorrow. She wanted to perform well in the Chunin exam and prove to her brother Yagyu that she was a qualified ninja. She was cowardly when she was very young, and even lost to her sister every time she fought, because she was afraid that her sister would be injured and that her hands would hurt others. Because of this, she was ridiculed as a waste, and even Hyuga Heishi was disappointed in her. At that time, no one cared about her, and no one recognized her. Every time she went out, she would be bullied by her peers. She is the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan. Why is she so cowardly and has no talent? She always heard similar words, whether it was the identity of the eldest daughter or the disappointment of the Hyuga clan, which made her feel very stressed, even to the point of difficulty breathing. Brother Yagyu. Hyuga Hinata's mouth slightly raised, recalling things from a long time ago. In the past, it was a snowy day. She got separated from the housekeeper ninja, and was bullied by her peers who grabbed her hair and laughed at her for looking like a ghost. At that time, she tried hard not to cry, because she knew that no one would care about her no matter how much she cried. When her mother was still alive, she would help her as long as she cried. But after her mother passed away, no one cared about her no matter how much she cried, and she was even severely disciplined by her father. But in the end, she couldn't help it. The pressure in her heart made her cry loudly in despair. When she thought that no matter how much she cried, no one would care about her. A white-haired man appeared. The man didn't care about his adult status at all. He piled all the 7 or 8-year-old children who bullied her into snowmen and placed them at the door of the Hokage building. The white-haired man told her, "Cry if you want to cry. You should cry when you are laughed at. After crying, work hard to become stronger and kill those who laughed at you. If you are a puppet without dreams, then treat me as your dream." In just a few words, Hyuga Hinata, who was desperate and helpless at the time, had a bright light in her eyes for the first time, and she had a goal called Dream for the first time. She thought that after her mother passed away, no one would care about her no matter how much she cried, but the appearance of Yagyu Tsuki made her know that there were people in the world who recognized her. Yagyu brother is a hero who will save me as long as I cry. In response to Yagyu Tsuki's expectations, she began to become strong from then on, and began to practice seriously. She wanted to respond to Yagyu Tsuki's expectations and fulfill her childhood dream. So this time in the Chunin selection exam, she had to work hard to prove herself to Yagyu Tsuki, and tell Yagyu Tsuki that the little girl you saved at that time has become very strong now. Yo, that move just now was great. A faint voice echoed throughout the dojo. Yagyu Tsuki sat by the window and smiled faintly at Hyuga Hinata. Although the power of Hinata's attack just now was not as strong as the Rasengan of Team 7, Lolita had to be praised anyway. Hyuga Hinata, who was thinking about something, was startled by the sudden appearance of Yagyu Tsuki, and suddenly raised her cute white face and looked at the moon sitting by the window in panic. Why is Yagyu brother here? Father is so annoying. Why didn't Yagyu brother tell me that he was a guest? Yagyu Tsuki waved. Yaguchi. Brother Yagyu. Hyuga Hinata panicked for a moment, then showed a happy mood in her eyes. She trotted to Yagyu Tsuki on her white and tender jade feet. Just when she wanted to hug Yagyu Tsuki happily, she took a step back like a frightened little rabbit. I sweated a lot after the training just now. If I hugged Brother Yagyu, would he smell it? Father is really annoying. If he had told me in advance that Brother Yagyu would be a guest, I would have taken a shower and changed into clean clothes. Yagyu Tsuki picked up Hyuga Hinata and put her on his lap, stroking Hinata's little head, smiling and praising. You have become stronger, Hinata. Yaguchi. Brother Yagyu, I have sweat. Hyuga Hinata felt the warmth of Yagyu Tsuki's palm, shyness flashed in his eyes, and he moved his butt awkwardly. Yagyu Tsuki waved his hand and said casually, it's okay, even cute women fart, and it's normal to sweat during training. Yagyu brother, did you receive a gift? Hyuga Hinata saw that Yagyu Tsuki didn't care about sweating, and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. He leaned on Yagyu Tsuki with his whole body, happily enjoying the time that belonged to her. What gift? Yagyu Tsuki was puzzled. He hadn't received any gifts recently, but there were quite a few female ninjas who gave him gifts in the past. Hyuga Hinata frowned cutely, raised his little head and looked at Yagyu Tsuki's handsome face, and said strangely, no? So strange. I clearly asked Lord Tsunade to pass the gift to Brother Yagyu. Didn't Lord Tsunade pass the gift? No, Yagyu Tsuki looked at Hinata strangely. The little girl said these two sentences quite fluently. I clearly asked Master Tsunade. Hyuga Hinata whispered, she was thinking secretly in her heart. Did Master Tsunade forget to pass it on, or, what's the reason? Just give it to Brother Yagyu next time. Please crazy B****ch. She must have forgotten when she was crazy, Yagyu Tsuki said. Crazy B****ch. Hyuga Hinata was alert all of a sudden. She always felt that the name of Crazy B****ch was ambiguous. The incident that Tsunade went to Yagyu Tsuki that day came to her mind. Could it be that? Did Master Tsunade like Brother Yagyu, so he deliberately didn't pass on the gift? Hyuga Hinata puffed her lips slightly, and a sour jealousy surged in her heart. She respected and liked Yagyu Tsuki from the bottom of her heart. Her dream since childhood was to work hard to get Yagyu Tsuki's recognition. Although she is soft and shy, she still has a strong possessiveness. Because of her experience with Yagyu Tsuki since childhood, she thinks Yagyu Tsuki belongs to her. Because all her happy experiences are about Yagyu Tsuki. Although Yagyu Tsuki always teases her, she will also feel very happy. Hyuga Hinata's cute face is red, and she asked softly in a low voice, Yagi, what you said to father that day, does it count? She clearly remembered the conversation between Yagyu Tsuki and Hyuga Hishi that day. Of course, she only heard the engagement talk at the beginning. She remembered that Yagyu agreed to get married at that time. Marriage, of course it counts, Yagyu Tsuki said. Then, that is. Hyuga Hinata hesitated, poking with two white fingers, and was hesitant for a long time without saying a word. Because of Tsunade and Yuhi Kurenai, she is now very anxious, worried that Yagyu Tsuki will be snatched away by others, so she wants to get engaged to Yagyu Tsuki before everyone else. There is no need to be so shy, just say it directly. Even with Yagyu Tsuki's top hearing, he couldn't hear Hyuga Hinata's mosquito-like voice, but he could roughly guess what little Hinata was going to say. Hyuga Hinata took a long breath, took out the greatest courage since childhood, closed her eyes and shyly shouted, if I can win the Chunin selection exam, Yagyu, please consider getting engaged to me. At this time, outside the dojo door, Hyuga Hanabi knelt on the ground, opened a crack in the door and looked at the things in the dojo curiously. Hearing Hyuga Hinata's courageous declaration, she gradually widened her eyes and looked at Hinata dumbfounded, exclaiming, oh my god. Sister is so bold. Well, very good. Hyuga Hiishi's resolute and serious face showed a satisfactory smile. When you are holding his grandson, the ninja may die at any time, so hugging the grandson in advance is the most joyful thing. Of course, it is best to be a granddaughter. Ninja. Before Hina said firmly, he wanted to get Lu Shungyu's recognition and became the most important person in Lu Shungyu's eyes. He began to recognize Yagyu Tsuki's strength and was indeed qualified to become the son-in-law of the Hyuga clan. Although his bad character was problematic, at least the brat was very strong and cared about Hyuga Hinata. That was enough. Yes, father. Hyuga Hanabi followed Hishi respectfully. At this time, in the dojo, there is no need to get engaged. Wait until you are 16 to get married directly. Yagyu Tsuki gently pinched Hinata's face. He never thought that Hinata would actually have the courage to say such a thing. Under the current situation, if they get engaged, the harem will definitely be in chaos. Although there is no harem at present, at least they should wait until the harem is well developed before marrying the women in the harem at the same time. Only children will make choices, and adults want everything. Besides, now we have to focus on strength, so there is no time for engagement. We can think about those things after we are completely invincible. Those who are controlled by desires are useless, and those who can control desires are strong, and the sign-in reward is greater than all women. Really? Hyuga Hinata said excitedly. Engagement is just an engagement, and it may be cancelled at any time, but marriage is the most certain answer, and marriage at the age of 16 is 4 years later. Yagyu Tsuki affirmed, I have never lied to you, I will definitely do what I promised. Hinata is a good girl, a Lolita that she raised herself, so Hinata must have a place in the harem. Alas. If only those crazy women who act crazy all day long were as easy to deal with as Tien. To be honest, Hinata is not that easy to deal with. It can only be said that the timing of her appearance is very right. It is difficult to improve the favorability of girls with fancy tricks. Appearing at the right time can impress girls. Only routines can win people's hearts. Then brother Yagyu should rest early. After Hyuga Hinata responded, her cute white face, Zung, turned red, and the blush even spread to her neck. Her little mind was blank now, and she was so shy that she almost fainted. So shy. I actually said those words just now. How can I dare to look at brother Yagyu in the future? Oh my god. What should I do? I said everything when my head was hot. I want to faint. She was jealous just now, and she was worried that Tsunade and Yuhi Kurenai would get ahead of her, so she said those shy remarks when her head was hot. Yagyu grabbed Hyuga Hinata's wrist, hugged Hinata's petite body from behind, and deliberately said in a very sexy tone, don't leave in a hurry. Since we have agreed to get married in the future, I will teach you some interesting things tonight. Still want to go to sleep? You are dreaming. In order to obtain the new power Tenseigan, Hinata must be trained hard tonight. Practice for me, late night gentle fist. At first, I wanted to play a straight ball, but I didn't expect Hinata to lead the topic to marriage, so it was just right to continue this topic. Hinata's room. The whole room was covered by the barrier, and the dim candlelight illuminated the room. Hyuga Hinata was wearing a black and white maid outfit, her round and beautiful legs were covered with white knee-high socks, and she was nervously sitting on the bed. Hyuga Hinata was very flustered now, but she agreed to Yagyu's proposal because she wanted to have Yagyu brother before everyone else. But I was so scared, and maid outfits and such, it's too embarrassing. Yi Shengyu looked at the white silk Lolita sitting in front of him, wearing a maid outfit, and nodded with satisfaction. Well, perfect. Lolita is really great. Lolita control. What's wrong with men perverting? Since we have to play happily, we must play role-playing. But to be honest, there is a sense of guilt, as if I am deceiving a little girl. Yi Sheng brother. Please. Hyuga Hinata closed her eyes, her fair and cute face was red, she was confused and panicked now, and more of a fear. A fierce battle began. This night, Hyuga Hinata grew up a lot. 66. Obtaining the Tenseigan, a dramatic development. 5 hours later. Early morning. Hyuga Hinata had no strength in her body, breathing rapidly and lying softly on Yagyu Tsuki's chest, her fair skin flushed with crimson. She grabbed the quilt to cover her entire head, and then huddled into the quilt cutely. Hyuga Hinata was very shy now, her heart was beating faster, she no longer had the courage to look at Yagyu Tsuki's face, and she was even shy to the point of fainting just now. Yagyu Tsuki was speechless, and the loli was so shy that she fainted, so should I continue or stop? Of course. Hinata woke up after a while. How? What should I do? Hyuga Hinata huddled in the quilt, her red face was very cute, and her little head was dizzy thinking about things. How? What should I do? What should I do now? Since I have been married to Yagyu brother, I should be his legitimate girlfriend now, right? But I am so shy, and it still hurts a little now. Ding. Complete the challenge, get the Tenseigan. Yagyu Tsuki's eyes turned sky blue, with a faint silver in his blue pupils. In just a moment, he put away the Tenseigan and returned to his usual black pupils. He can now clearly feel that his own strength has almost doubled. His current strength is probably powerful Dao level. Very good. Perfect. When Orochimaru, the dead demon, invades the village, then we can use Danzo the old dog to test some of the Tenseigan's abilities. Uzumaki Nagato also has a Rinnegan that he can be proud of, so when I use the power of the Tenseigan, I should see Nagato's very interesting expression. Yagyu Tsuki put his hands on the back of his head, looking at Hinata who was curled up in the quilt like a kitten, and thought secretly in his heart. To be honest, little Hinata is really great, small and delicate, the whole body is very soft. The thin parts are evenly distributed, and the meaty parts are full. Yayu Niang, do you know Tsunade-sama? Hyuga Hinata poked her head out from under the quilt, raised her cute red and slightly hot face, and looked at Yagyu Tsuki eagerly, like a pitiful little animal. That day, Tsunade ran to the Hokage's office aggressively, as if he had something very important to ask Yagyu Niang, but it seemed that Tsunade and Yagyu Niang had no grudges. Moreover, Tsunade is the strongest medical ninja, how could his memory be so bad? The reason why he didn't hand over the gift to Yagyu Niang was probably because he had ulterior motives. From Yagyu Niang's attitude towards Tsunade, it was hard to see that there was any grudge between the two, so was it really a so-called quarrel between husband and wife?
Yagyu Niang can only be mine. Yagyu Niang tilted his head and fell asleep directly. He could enter a sleeping state instantly by controlling chakra. There was no need to lie to Hinata. Hinata might cry if she told him the truth. Besides, Hinata was a very innocent and kind little girl. There was no need to mention other women right after the incident. The harem problem could always be solved later. So go to sleep. Hyuga Hinata looked at Yagyu Tsuki, who fell asleep instantly. She puffed up her cheeks like a hamster in anger. She raised her little hand and gently poked Yagyu Tsuki's face. Then she hugged Yagyu Tsuki tightly like an octopus. Not long after, she felt very tired and said it was over. The sun was scorching and the sky was clear. The whole village was very lively today. Ninjas from other villages could be seen everywhere on the streets. There were genin teams from Odogakure, genin teams from Takagakure, and genin teams from San Shinobi Village. All of these ninjas came here to participate in this year's Chunin selection exam. The snack stalls on the street were also very busy, because it was easiest to make money when it was lively. Are you going to change your career to begging? Why do you look like you've been dead for 7 days? Lu Shengyu ate the sweet and sour fried noodles and looked at the people in Class 7 indifferently. Everyone in Class 7 had torn clothes, many bruises and blood all over their bodies, and large pieces of mud on their clothes and skin, no different from the beggars on the street. Quote, quote. Everyone in Class 7 stood in a row. They were indeed no different from beggars on the street, because everyone who was beaten by Tsunade yesterday fainted for a night. After waking up, they found that it was almost time for the Chunin exam, and there was no extra time to clean up their appearance. No words to refute. Lu Shengyu took a big bite of fried noodles and said vaguely, "Go in, I'll wait for you in the finals." Everyone in Class 7 didn't move, but looked at Lu Shengyu with difficulty. Why, do you want to act like a spoiled child with me? Lu Shengyu paused eating and looked at everyone in Class 7 strangely. Uzumaki Naruto elbowed Sasuke and urged him, "Sasuke, hurry up and tell me, you love to show off." "Idiot, don't touch me." Uchiha Sasuke glared at Naruto coldly and said in a cold voice, "Since you asked the question, you should tell it yourself." Haruno Sakura sighed. "I give up." It was clearly something that the three of them had discussed together, but why did they all start to shrink at the critical moment? Team 7 just discussed that they wanted to let Yagyu Tsuki teach Team 7, because Master Tsunade's personality is too violent, and she is not as good at teaching people as Yagyu Tsuki. The most important thing is, Team 7 is used to getting along with Yagyu Tsuki, and they have nothing to say when they get along with Master Tsunade. Yagyu Tsuki looked at the timid Class 7 and said speechlessly, "Little brat, if you have something to say, just say it quickly. If you want to eat fried noodles, go buy it yourself." Haruno Sakura bit her lips lightly, hesitated for a moment, and said nervously, "Teacher Yagyu, can you please continue to teach us?" Class 7 thought that Yagyu Tsuki had no intention of continuing to manage Class 7, so she temporarily handed Class 7 over to Tsunade. "What's the reason?" Yagyu Tsuki asked. He could roughly guess what Team 7 was thinking. It was just that it was hard to get along with Tsunade. After all, the crazy BCH was a woman who used her fists to hit the flesh. Although it was comfortable to be a hands-off boss, he couldn't be a hands-off boss completely because he had to sign in a Team 7. So he would definitely continue to train Team 7. Reason. Haruno Sakura was about to tell the truth when he saw Yagyu Tsuki's face, which looked like she was waiting to be praised. He changed his words very cleverly and said, "Because Teacher Yagyu is the best ninja I have ever seen. We want to become stronger little by little with your help. It will be very comfortable to get along with Teacher Yagyu. The master's wife is a medical ninja, so she should be very busy. How can we bear to disturb the master's wife at work?" Quote. Although Mr. Yagyu is a bad guy, he is indeed a perfect ninja. And, I would rather be taught by Mr. Yagyu, a top handsome guy, than to get along with Mrs. Tsunade, but I definitely can't say such words. Yagyu Tsuki took a bite of fried noodles and asked casually, "Really? How comfortable is it? You feel comfortable with me? This is the first time I heard someone say that. You are just a bunch of tools to help me earn points, and you feel comfortable. But don't say it. What the stinky kid said is quite nice. It's just very comfortable. Pervert." After Haruno Sakura responded, her fair face turned slightly red, and she glared at Yagyu Tsuki unhappily. Uzumaki Naruto gave a thumbs up and said with a sunny and cheerful smile, "I like Yagyu teacher very much, so please continue to teach Class 7. Yagyu Tsuki said with disdain, "There is no point in a stinky man's confession. Don't say such embarrassing words. Even I would be shy. Anyway, it depends on your performance. Yagyu teacher, just watch my performance carefully." Uchiha Sasuke put his hands in his pockets and looked at Yagyu Tsuki coldly and seriously. "Performance. Then watch my performance carefully. I will prove the power of Uchiha to everyone." Yagyu. A light and pleasant voice sounded, and Yagyu Tsuki's shoulder was patted lightly. "Hey, Sister Hong Hong." Yagyu Tsuki turned and looked at Xiong Hong. "The exam is about to start, why haven't you entered yet?" Xiong Hong glanced at Class 7, and after seeing the embarrassed state of Class 7, a strange look appeared in her eyes. Yagyu Tsuki deliberately sighed and said in embarrassment, "The little brats are acting like spoiled brats. It's really troublesome to be an excellent teacher. 0. Please give me flowers. It's good that you didn't lead Jōnin astray." Yuhi Kohaku glanced at Yagyu Tsuki and sighed in his heart. Yagyu brother has really changed, becoming more approachable than before. Yagyu Tsuki used to be so crazy that he was lawless. Hyuga Hinata hid behind Yuhi Kohaku, carefully showing her little head, nervously looking at Yagyu Tsuki in front of her, and said in a soft and subtle voice, Yagyu. Yagyu brother is so embarrassing, so shy. Yagyu Tsuki bent down, gently touched Hyuga Hinata's head, and asked with a faint smile, did you sleep well? When he left the Hyuga clan, Hinata was sleeping soundly with the quilt like an octopus. Huh. Everyone in Class 7 was confused, looking at Yagyu Tsuki who cared about Hinata in disbelief. Oh my god. Teacher Yagyu actually cares about others. Outrageous. It's outrageous. I'm fine. Hyuga Hinata felt the warmth of Yagyu Tsuki's palm, and shrank behind Yuhi Kurenai like a frightened little rabbit. When she saw Yagyu Tsuki, she would recall what happened last night, and she would feel shy and embarrassed when she recalled what happened last night. Oh my god. I was so bold last night. I actually told brother Yagyu. So shy. Really. Yagyu Tsuki didn't ask any more questions, he knew Hinata was very shy now, and it would take some time to slowly calm down. Loli is so nice. Sister Ju-Ru looked like she wanted to eat people after she was done. Thank goodness you can hear clearly. Yuhi Kurenai was surprised. She didn't hear what Hinata said at all, not to mention the whole sentence, not even a single word. She knew that Hyuga Hinata was very attached to Yagyu Tsuki, but in her eyes, Hinata was still a little girl with a soft personality and easy to be shy. So even if Hinata was attached to Yagyu Tsuki, it would be okay, because Hinata was a little rival in love who didn't pose any threat. It was a bit harsh to say rival in love, after all, Hinata was still a child. Yuhi Kurenai asked curiously, what did Lord Tsunade want to talk to you about before? Hearing this, Hyuga Hinata's ears moved slightly, and she raised her head and looked at Yagyu Tsuki eagerly. She wanted to know about Tsunade last night, but brother Yagyu fell asleep directly. Yagyu Tsuki calmly changed the subject, chuckled and teased, crazy woman, who knew, why didn't I realize before that sister Honghong actually liked 8 trigrams too? Quote. What did you say to me, you white-haired B***********************. D. A cold and indifferent voice sounded, and Tsunade walked towards Yagyu Tsuki with a cold face. She was caught as a free laborer yesterday, which made her very angry now. She was just about to walk around the busy streets to see if there were any gambling stalls. Then she heard a very familiar voice, and the owner of that voice actually said that she was a crazy woman. I haven't settled the score for catching me as a free laborer yet, and the white-haired B********** D dared to say that I was a crazy woman. Master's wife. Master Tsunade. When the Team 7 saw Tsunade, they subconsciously called her Master's wife, and then suddenly remembered that Tsunade hated being called Master's wife, so they immediately opened their mouths to call her Master Tsunade. Master's wife. Everyone in the audience was stunned. Although the Team 7 changed their words quickly, as ninjas, they still heard the word Master's wife. The smiles of the two girls, Yuhi Kurenai and Hyuga Hinata, froze. Aburame Shino and Inazuka Kiba looked at Yagyu with a puzzled look on their faces. Tsunade frowned slightly and accused him in a strong manner, stupid, don't call me Master's wife. Master Tsunade, wait for me. Kato Shizune hurriedly trotted to Tsunade's side with a pink pig in his arms, and then felt the strange atmosphere at the scene and made a surprised sound, Yagyu's mouth twitched slightly, and he glanced at Yuhi Kurenai and Hinata lightly, feeling the questioning eyes of the two women, and said silently in his heart. Are you kidding me? Is it so dramatic? Damn those stinky tools in Team 7. Go to Chunin to take the exam quickly, don't make trouble here. Open black lens bracket. 67 close black lens bracket. The third Hokage's awakening. Master's wife. Yuhi Kurenai raised her eyebrows slightly, looked at Lu Shengyu thoughtfully, and then looked at Tsunade with a strange expression. Looking at Tsunade's Ju-Ru that was beyond ordinary people, she showed a look of understanding after a while. Those who understand will understand. Lu Shengyu has liked Ju-Ru since the beginning, but I didn't expect that he would set his sights on Master Tsunade. No wonder Master Tsunade went to the village to find Lu Shengyu in a threatening manner some time ago. He must have been teased by Lu Shengyu, right? But judging from Master Tsunade's cold attitude, he should have nothing to do with Lu Shengyu, otherwise how could he be so cold? The title of Master's wife should be called by Lu Shengyu in the order of Team 7. Damn white-haired, where did you go yesterday? I heard from Shizune that he seemed to see you in the tavern. Tsunade smiled, and the smile gave people a dangerous feeling. He clenched his white fist and slowly approached Yagyu Tsuki. After leaving Team 7 to me, you ran out to play by yourself, right? I was drinking happily with Shizune yesterday, and then Yagyu Tsuki took him away directly, and even asked me to teach the little brats in Team 7 to practice. Yesterday, the damn white-haired said that he had something to do, and if he had something to do, he would go out to drink, right? Tsunade heard from Shizune last night that he saw Yagyu Tsuki in the tavern, and Yagyu Tsuki was drinking happily with Yuhi Kurenai. Let me be a free laborer, and you go to drink with other women. Hyuga Hinata hugged Yagyu Tsuki, raised her head and looked at Tsunade carefully, and said softly, Yagyu. Yagyu brother was at my house yesterday. She was very concerned about Tsunade not passing on the gift, and deliberately did not pass the gift to Yagyu brother. Could it be that does Tsunade-sama have other purposes? But this matter is not so 70 important. Even if Tsunade-sama has any ideas, it is useless because I am now the girlfriend of Yagyu brother. After all, last night. This brat. Tsunade frowned slightly. Hinata's speech sounded like she was defending Yagyu, but it felt a little strange no matter how she listened. I always feel that Hinata is wary of me. It's an illusion. Hinata, it's time to go in for the exam. Yuhi Kurenai looked at Hinata who was hugging Yagyu like protecting food, and shook her head with a little amusement. Hinata really likes to stick to Yagyu. If Hinata is a few years older, I might feel a sense of crisis, but Hinata is still young now, and it's normal to like to stick to people she respects. In her eyes, Hinata has no chance at all. No matter how frivolous and philandering Yagyu Tsuki is, he can't possibly do anything to a cute little girl like Hinata, right? The only thing worth noting at the moment is Tsunade-sama, but judging from Tsunade-sama's attitude towards Yagyu Tsuki, there is no so-called love in his heart. So I, a childhood sweetheart, have a big advantage. Really, what a weird thing I am thinking. Go take the exam. Yagyu Tsuki touched Hinata's head. There is no so-called Shura field. But think about it. At present, that crazy woman Tsunade wants to eat me alive. Little Hinata's personality is still very soft and shy, and Sister Honghong has not yet realized what happened between her, Tsunade and Hinata. So how could there be a Shura field? Analyzing these things from the perspective of the parties involved is quite funny. Okay. Hyuga Hinata felt the warmth of Yagyu Tsuki's palm, and a shy feeling surged in her heart. She reluctantly let go of Yagyu Tsuki. Everyone in Class 8 entered the examination venue. Yagyu Tsuki glanced at the people in Class 7, waved his hands in disdain and said, You little brats, stop getting in the way here, and go take the exam. Your attitude changes so quickly. Everyone in Class 7 complained. He was so nice when talking to Hinata, why did he become so rude to us? Uchiha Sasuke put his hands in his pockets, looked back at Yagyu Tsuki coldly, and said confidently, Teacher Yagyu, watch my performance carefully, I will use my strength to prove the power of Uchiha. Attitude. It doesn't matter. Because strict teachers produce excellent students. He wants to pass this Chunin selection exam to prove to everyone the power of Uchiha, and to prove to everyone that he, Sasuke, is the strongest genin of this class. Very soon, everyone in Team 7 walked into the examination venue. They didn't have time to talk so much nonsense now, because the exam was about to start in minutes. Yagyu Tsuki looked at Sasuke's back and said to himself speechlessly, Don't try too hard, brat. Don't really win. With the character of these brats in Team 7, if they can really become the winners of the Chunin exam, although Haruno Sakura is not so conceited, Sasuke and Naruto will definitely be proud. How can I still put pressure on Team 7 at that time? Although I can put pressure on them. But in the short term, it will definitely affect the progress of training. Just use the Rasengan to help me pretend, and then honestly leave the stage after defeat. There is no need to bet everything on victory. Alas, so troublesome. Being a teacher is troublesome. Stupid. Let's settle accounts. Tsunade grabbed Yagyu Tsuki's collar when she saw Hinata enter the venue. She was very angry with Yagyu Tsuki recently. She didn't get angry just now because Hinata was holding Yagyu Tsuki and was worried that she would accidentally hurt the innocent Hyuga Hinata. I ran to the village to make you pay the price, and then you caught me as a free laborer. After catching me as a free laborer, the dead white-haired man actually skipped work to drink. Damn it. Yagyu Tsuki took out a lollipop, unwrapped it, put it in his mouth and sipped it lightly, looking at Tsunade who was as cold as a gunpowder barrel, and said lightly, Don't be so angry, be careful of endocrine disorders. Tsunade-sama, do you have any misunderstandings? Yuhi Kurenai looked worried. She was really afraid that Tsunade would just do it directly, because she heard from the third Hokage that Tsunade had a hot temper. It's none of your business. Tsunade hadn't finished her words when she felt like vomiting from a hangover. She hurriedly covered her mouth with one hand, but the other hand tightly grasped Yagyu Tsuki's collar. Tsunade-sama. Kato Shizune hurriedly supported Tsunade, wondering in her heart. Tsunade-sama has been vomiting since yesterday. Is he sick? But Tsunade-sama is the best medical ninja. He can easily cure any disease. Tsunade frowned and said, I'm fine. Can you stop staring at my face and vomiting? Even I would be sad. Lu Shengyu said speechlessly, You are still clinging to me even though you are drunk. Are you trying to express your feelings under the influence of alcohol? Tsunade glared at Lu Shengyu and accused him arrogantly, Idiot, I didn't drink. Besides, I am a medical ninja. How could I drink and vomit? Lu Shengyu asked, You didn't drink and, really didn't drink? Tsunade said, drinking happily. Really? Lu Shengyu didn't ask any more questions and glanced at Tsunade's flat belly. No drinking, no illness. Besides, how could the strongest medical ninja in the whole ninja world drink or be sick to the point of wanting to vomit? So, Lu Shengyu's mouth twitched slightly. Really? Is it so accurate? But without the breath of life, it should be, not so accurate, right? Not what you think. Tsunade frowned slightly. She felt Yagyu Tsuki's gaze moving down, but there was indeed no sign of life. She must know better than anyone whether there was any, because she was a medical ninja. Yuhi Kurenai covered her mouth with her hand and whispered in Yagyu Tsuki's ear, "What are you talking about? What do you mean by drinking or not? What do you mean by not thinking about? Is this a code word? Encrypted call, right? Dong." The bell at the top of the Hokage building was struck, and as the chakra resounded throughout the village like thunder, all the Jōnin in the village suddenly changed their expressions, because this bell represented the first level of alert, and the third Hokage was summoning all the Jōnin in the village. Hokage-sama. Yuhi Kurenai was slightly startled, and turned to look at the Hokage building in the distance. The last time the first level of alert bell rang was when the fourth generation lady gave birth, which was the Nine-Tails Demon Fox Rebellion at that time. But why was the first level alert sounded during the Chunin selection exam? Determination. Yagyu Tsuki sipped the candy lightly and looked at the Hokage building in the distance. He had reminded the third generation old dog before as a riddle man. The third generation old dog seemed to have made up his mind. I'm bored, let's go and take a look. Hokage building. Office. A group of Jōnin and special Jōnin stood in a row in an orderly manner. Everyone looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen with a serious expression, patiently waiting for the order of the third Hokage. The whole place was silent, and the heavy atmosphere weighed on everyone like a mountain. They knew that since the first level alert bell would sound, there would definitely be a crisis that could endanger the village. Quote, Orochimaru has invaded the village, and Otogakur has been dominated by Orochimaru. Everyone should be prepared for the battle. I have sent people to guard the examination venue, with the priority of protecting the children in the village. Orochimaru will be left to me, and the Chunin selection exam will continue. 0. Disperse. Sarutobi Hiruzen had a serious expression, his old eyes were sharp, and his whole body exuded the aura of a superior. Yes, all the Jōnin in the audience responded, and everyone disappeared at the same time. Orochimaru. Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin's level rebel ninja. Things seemed to be more serious than imagined. Sarutobi Hiruzen picked up the pipe, took a deep puff, exhaled a pale smoke, and said to the empty office, Yagyu Tsuki, is this the enlightenment you want to see? Even if it's your former beloved disciple. Yagyu Tsuki appeared out of thin air, sat down on the soft sofa, and looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who seemed to have aged a lot. Sarutobi Hiruzen said firmly, I am the Hokage, and anyone who will harm the village is an enemy. He is the third Hokage, and the duty of the Hokage is to protect the village at all costs. He wants to take this opportunity to cut off the grudge with Orochimaru. After a period of thinking, he finally made up his mind. Because the young seedlings in the village are sprouting, the will of fire will illuminate the entire village, and being the third Hokage is to protect all of this. The corners of Yagyu Tsuki's mouth slightly raised, showing a mocking smile, and said, Are all those who harm the village enemies? What were you thinking when you let the dead demon go? I'm not interested in seeing the old man's enlightenment. No matter how cool he is, it's useless. After you die, I will consider burning incense on your grave. Anyway, work hard. Old man, you still have the nerve to say enlightenment. He said that as a Hokage, he must protect the village, and anyone who harms the village is an enemy, but in the end, he was soft-hearted and let go of his beloved disciple who harmed the village. When his beloved disciple wanted to destroy the village, he began to say that he was enlightened. It's funny. The so-called enlightenment is like a belief that is firmly implemented until death. The enlightenment that swings back and forth is the most ridiculous joke. But no matter what, the third generation old dog is still quite human now. I'll just look forward to the performance of the third generation old dog for a little while. Of course, we have to deal with old Danzo first. After all, I'm tired of the trash at the top. I can take this opportunity to test the ability of Tenseigan. Tenseigan's ability should be quite interesting, right? Rinnegan can manipulate gravity to use Shinra Tensei and planetary devastation, and Tenseigan can also manipulate extremely huge gravity. Tenseigan's pupil power can even pull the moon. Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed and scolded, Stinky boy, I haven't fallen to the point of being taught by you. Yagyu Tsuki said, Since you rarely show off, I'll give you a piece of advice. Be careful of being stabbed in the back. Stabbed in the back. Sarutobi Hiruzen was slightly stunned, thinking about what Yagyu Tsuki said. Stabbed in the back, it should be about knowing someone. Tsunade. How is that possible? Wait a minute. How will Orochimaru invade the village in 4.1? Sand Shinobi Village. Sarutobi Hiruzen frowned slightly, and a feeling of disbelief surged in his heart. Could it be that Orochimaru would use Sand Shinobi Village? If so, then Orochimaru must have planned for a long time. Very smart. Yagyu Tsuki praised, and then said with a faint chuckle, Yes, it's the alliance you want. Don't worry, I will ask them for compensation after you die, and of course all the money will belong to me. At this time, at the door of the office, Tsunade folded his arms and leaned against the wall, listening to the conversation between Sarutobi Hiruzen and Yagyu Tsuki in the office, with a hint of cold murderous intent in his eyes. Orochimaru, This idiot. She had thought about many good tricks that Yagyu Tsuki had said before, but she never expected that the good trick that the dead white-haired one said was that Orochimaru wanted to destroy the village. Kato Shizune whispered, Tsunade-sama, Yagyu Tsuki doesn't seem to be planning to take action, so what should we do? Tsunade frowned and didn't answer Shizune's words. She felt that Shizune's question was very strange. What does it have to do with me if the dead white-haired one doesn't plan to take action? Shizune's words sounded as if I would follow the dead white-haired one's opinion. Tsunade felt nauseous, and she quickly covered her mouth with her hands, forcibly suppressing the strong urge to vomit with chakra. What happened these 2 days? Is the dead white-haired one so powerful? Winning the prize in one go. How is it possible? But as a medical ninja, she didn't feel any signs of life. It should be that she was a little too stressed recently.